A little girl, only 5 years old, lies quietly in her coffin. But in the next second, she suddenly opens her eyes. The funeral instantly turns into a horror scene. Everyone is scared and in a panic. Someone, come quick. The young lady has risen from the dead. Go and inform Duke Horace. The girl's heart sinks. Could it be? Daphne sits alone by the window. Behind her, your whispers rise and fall. The young lady looks so pitiful alone. The Duke is too heartless. I also want to be nice to her, but her temper is really terrible. Daphne suppresses her anger. As a noble dragon, he disdains to argue with these insignificant humans. More importantly, the person he's waiting for is about to arrive. Hearing footsteps, he quickly runs to the window, staring intently at the tall, blonde man. It's the enemy who sealed him in his previous life, Duke Cross Agawan. What he can't accept even more is, this man is now the father of his body. Thinking of this, he feels his dragon dignity being trampled upon. He howls and throws a tantrum on the ground. No, I absolutely don't want this. This world once had 5 giant dragons known as fragments of God. They guarded the human empire and were loved. But the calamity dragon Ceros was an exception. Wherever he went, life was devastated. Not a blade of grass grew. All the races combined could hardly resist him. Until the hero Horace appeared. Everything changed. After a long and fierce battle, Cross pierced Ceros' left eye with an arrow. And that was his only weakness. Ceros, in great pain, couldn't believe it. Why did this human know his secret? Cross ultimately did not take his life, but sealed him for a full 1,000 years. When you wake up, my descendants will end your trust. But Ceros was always unwilling. What did he do wrong? Was it his fault that he was born for disaster? However, when he woke up again, he found himself to be the daughter of his enemy. In the blink of an eye, a week has passed. The soul and body gradually merge. Daphne is finally able to move normally. He looks at himself in the mirror with blonde hair and green eyes, and pouts in annoyance. Why does he look so much like that bastard? But so far, no one has noticed that this body has changed souls. Even that man, on the day of his resurrection, only glanced over indifferently, not dead. There even seemed to be some disappointment in his eyes. He hasn't appeared since. Even he, a dragon, finds it strange. Don't humans value blood relations the most? How can this guy treat his own daughter even more coldly than a stranger? But there are more important things right now. This body flows with the blood of the strongest swordsman, while the soul is still the supreme calamity dragon. If he combines his millennia of magical cultivation with the swordsman's bloodline, perhaps he can become even more powerful than before. Daphne's mouth curves into a sly smile. When he inherits the position of family head, he will reveal his true identity. That man's expression will be absolutely wonderful. I will become the family head, and then destroy this family with my own hands. But Daphne quickly discovers a problem. When he was still a dragon, his soul was imprinted with magic. But now he feels the surging magic, as if it's blocked by a dam, unable to be used normally. He quietly examines this body, and sees that the physical strength is at rock bottom and the magic power is 0. He's completely dumbfounded. How is this possible? This is the descendant of a swordsman. At this moment, he suddenly feels a sharp pain in his chest, and suddenly coughs up a large mouthful of blood, which startles him. The maids hear the noise and rush in, frantically wiping the blood and calling for a doctor. Sure enough, even if the young lady is resurrected, this disease still can't be cured. Daphne is flustered. Am I sick? What disease? Is this body about to die? Wouldn't his revenge plan be ruined? Daphne recalls the sage he encountered decades ago. He claimed to be able to know the future, and predicted that Ceros would become a worthless existence. This made Ceros very unhappy, and he punched him to the other side of the continent. Now it seems that guy definitely knew the truth. He must find him and ask him everything. But right now, even surviving in this body is a problem. Daphne looks at the twin maids, Anna and Annie. What disease do I have? The two of them look troubled, hesitating to speak. Miss, you don't like to mention the name of this disease. Yes, you even threw a vase at us when we said it before. It seems that the original owner's bad temper has indeed left a shadow on them. I won't do that now. Don't be afraid. Tell me, what disease do I have? The two look at each other. Black butterfly disease. Daphne recalls the world disease encyclopedia he had seen before. It recorded that the cause of black butterfly disease is unknown. It's a type of dark magic curse. Black butterfly-shaped patterns will appear on the patient's body. When all 4 wings of the butterfly turn black, it means that death is coming and there is no cure. He immediately checks his chest. Sure enough, he sees a butterfly pattern with 1 wing half black. But he frowns in confusion. Since you only die when all the wings turn black, Why did this body die a week ago? He asks the maids about his cause of death. Anna and Annie recall it with confusion for a long time. We don't really remember clearly either. We only remember that Mrs. Condition suddenly worsened. Daphne thinks I'm very unusual, so concerned about her maid. How could she not remember something so important? Could it be that someone killed this body? And erased the memories of those around her. A thought flashed through his mind. The dark magician suddenly understood. It seems that from the curse to the assassination, this is a perfect plan against this body. Does the outside world know about my resurrection? No. The Duke ordered us to keep it secret for now, because you might die again. Daphne gritted her teeth in anger. Fortunately, she doesn't have to worry about being assassinated again for now. But that guy is really vicious. She could only angrily punch the pillow. Seeing this, the maid quickly comforted her. Miss, don't worry. The Duke has invited a famous doctor for you. He's an elven doctor from the Yingshiha Mountains. Teddy hummed a little tune and came to the Duke's mansion. He had long heard that the Duke's youngest daughter was suffering from an incurable disease. If the Duke's mansion hadn't offered a high price, he wouldn't have bothered to make this trip. It doesn't matter if he can cure her. He'll make a fortune if he can. He came to the door of Daphne's room and was about to push the door open. Suddenly, a familiar and terrifying aura hit him in the face. His face turned pale instantly. What's going on? I haven't felt this kind of fear in decades. He trembled and pushed the door open. He saw a 5-year-old girl standing at the door, and the soul pressure emanating from her body was actually that of the Calamity Dragon, Ceres. Teddy slammed the door shut. His face was even paler than before. Why is that lunatic here? In the end, Teddy still succumbed to the dragon's might. He knelt tremblingly in front of Daphne. As soon as Daphne dismissed the others, he immediately put on a respectful posture and started flattering her. You must be Lord Ceres. Only you can exude such a powerful and terrifying aura. Daphne enjoyed this flattery very much. You're a promising kid. Are you this body's exclusive doctor? Yes, from today onwards. Lord Ceres, I will be responsible for your treatment. Just call me Daphne from now on. Teddy carefully agreed, but he was a little curious. My lord, why did you become a human, little girl? Daphne awkwardly looked away and explained that she wanted to experience life as a human. Teddy immediately understood. I see. So you hid your magic power. If it weren't for our elf race's keen perception, we really wouldn't have noticed. Daphne quickly changed the subject. I have black butterfly disease. Can you cure it? Teddy had a strange expression on his face. Are you sure? Black butterfly is not a disease, but a kind of black magic curse. As long as you find a way to lift the curse, you can cure it. But Daphne didn't understand. This body is only 5 years old. Who did she offend to be cursed like this? Teddy shook his head. To be precise, it's not your body that offended them. He raised his hand and pointed to the Achaean family crest. It's the Duke. It turns out that the Duke once killed a black magician. The other party cursed the Duke before he died, to make the Achaean family's bloodline unable to continue. Daphne was even more puzzled. But why me? Teddy's expression became subtle. It seems you don't know anything. It turns out that Duke Heroes has 4 children, but the first 3 are adopted. Only the youngest, Daphne, is his biological child. Daphne understood now. So this body is being cursed because of the Duke. And because she is his biological child, that's why she's dying. The more Daphne thought about it, the angrier she became. That's too much. I'm like this, and he doesn't even come to visit me once. Why? That's because the Duchess died giving birth to Daphne. Daphne's values were shattered by this truth. This man is too selfish. He's actually neglecting his own daughter because of resentment. To this extent, she rolled up her sleeves, ready to fight. Let's go. Let's go beat up this beastly scum. Close, although he is the Duke of Achaean, is still despised by some vassals because of his commoner status. The reason he was able to sit in this position is all thanks to his strength as the strongest swordsman and the hero title bestowed by the emperor. Even so, the vassals still often argue with him on political affairs. At this moment, the atmosphere in the hall was tense. The Duke and his confidants advocated that when disaster strikes, the granary should be open to relieve the victims. However, some vassals, led by a count, firmly opposed it, believing that it would damage the Duke's mansion's interests, even satirizing him. Duke, you are so considerate of the common people. You must not have forgotten your years of wandering the streets when you were young. The Duke was silent for a moment. His well-defined fingers tapped the table, signaling everyone to be quiet. Recently, the Marquis's daughter's engagement ceremony was burned down. This is the common people's protest against the extravagant lives of the nobles. His voice was calm but with an unquestionable force. If you still want to continue to enjoy wealth and stability, you have to make some compromises. After all, the common people don't have much patience. Only a thump was heard. His fingertip hard pressed a hole into the solid table. In order to ease the atmosphere, the vassals quickly changed the topic. The next topic was about the long vacant position of Duchess. Before the words were finished, the table was crushed again by the Duke. Just then, the door of the hall was suddenly pushed open. Daphne walked in aggressively. Long time no see, Duke. In the shocked eyes of everyone, he struggled to stand on tiptoe, grabbed a teacup from the table, and threw it at the Duke. Unfortunately, the teacup grazed his cheek and only hit the wall behind him. Daphne climbed onto the table, approaching the Duke step by step. You gave birth to this body without permission, causing me to suffer this curse. And you don't even fulfill the responsibilities of a father. It's really too much. The Duke was not angry at all, but a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. What's wrong? Are you resenting me now? You don't even deserve to be resented by me. I'm here to declare war on you. Suddenly, Daphne grabbed a quill pen nearby and quickly stabbed it towards the Duke's heart, but the Duke easily dodged it with an ink bottle in his hand. Daphne used all her strength to declare war on the Duke. I will definitely not die. I will definitely survive, and then kill you with my own hands. After everyone dispersed, the Duke sat alone in the empty council hall, absent-mindedly stroking the feather. Marquis Xingxing, Gailong, and Buling stood aside, unable to guess what he was thinking. Because of the Black Magician's curse, the Duke's emotions were stripped away. Plus, he was naturally introverted, so he rarely showed his emotions. But emotional detachment doesn't mean he can't think. Daphne Achian, the Duke's only bloodline, a child who took another life at birth and couldn't escape the early death curse. He was irritable due to years of illness and often beat the servants for no reason. Eventually, the Duke locked him in the other courtyard. Originally, he should have died quietly. Unexpectedly, he not only revived, but today he even staged such a declaration of war. After scolding the Duke, Daphne felt much better. Seeing this, Teddy carefully prepared to slip away. Daphne squinted her eyes. Are you trying to escape me? How could I possibly leave? The great Daphne, I am willing to dedicate my life to you. It's just that I really have other things to do. Besides, you are under a curse, and I can't heal you. My butterfly wings are only half black, which means this body didn't die from the curse. But he stupidly widened his eyes. Wait, you don't want me to gather information, do you? I'm just an elf. At most, I can help you contact the Intelligence Guild. I really can't do anything else. You're overthinking it. I want you to help me. Prepare some medicine to restore my strength. Slow down the curse's progress and accumulate strength for me. Teddy confessed with a bitter face, my lady. I'm actually an elf pretending to be a doctor, not a pharmacist. Daphne clenched her small fist and glared angrily. Are you refusing me? No, I wouldn't dare. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. From today on, I am a pharmacist. Daphne smiled contentedly. Everything is ready. Now all that's left is for her strength to recover. The maids Anna and Annie have recently felt that their young lady is very strange. She hasn't hit anyone in a week. She no longer throws things at them. Her tone of voice has also become old-fashioned. Today, she even went to the training ground alone, not allowing them to follow. Is she trying to attract the Duke's attention? Inside the training ground, Daphne found a secluded corner to prepare a magic container for herself. Everything in the world has magic. Even human babies are no exception. But her magic power is zero, obviously caused by the curse. What needs to be done now is to guide out the magic imprinted in her soul. Daphne took out a magic stone and swallowed it directly. Instantly, a burning, excruciating pain swept through her body. She curled up into a ball, trying her best to endure it, slowly guiding the energy of the crystal to impact the blocked magic power in her body. As time passed, she suddenly spat out a large mouthful of black blood. At the same time, she clearly felt a tiny magic container finally forming in her body. Her magic power went from 0 to 1. Daphne was overjoyed. Great! If I keep training like this, I can continuously increase my magic power. I truly am the Great Cyrus. She carefully collected the black blood, containing the power of the curse, for future investigation. Just then, a stone hit Daphne right in the back of the head. Who dares to attack me from behind? She turned around angrily and saw a red-haired boy with his arms crossed, looking down at her. Why are you in the training ground? What a nuisance. Yet lost now. It turned out to be the Duke's third adopted child, and also Daphne's brother, Irisakian. Daphne didn't care. Now that you've finished speaking, let's take this as your last words. Iris was a little surprised, but still spoke defensively. No matter how much you struggle, you will die sooner or later. Why don't you just hide in your room and torture the maids like before? But the next second, Daphne's fist had already solidly landed on his face. Iris staggered and fell to the ground, covering his face in disbelief. How dare you hit me? Well, you hit me first. Am I not allowed to fight back? How can you be like this? No matter what, I'm still your brother. Daphne couldn't help but roll her eyes. I don't have such a shameless brother as you. Long ago, as a dragon who had always lived alone, Cyrus was also curious about what it was like to have a family. He secretly observed humans in disguise, thinking that family members would always care for each other and worrying about each other. But this brother in front of her was attacking her when she was on the verge of death. He would only speak harshly. I don't have a brother like you. Don't bother me in the future. Iris laughed in anger. I never considered you family either. He stepped forward and pointed at Daphne's head. Wake up. You are simply a disgrace to the Eglion family. But the next second, Daphne bit his finger. Iris cried in pain. Looks like you're asking for a beating. Funny, what else can you do besides getting beaten by me? Iris was exasperated and about to attack, but was interrupted by Knight Commander Lloyd, who arrived upon hearing the noise. What are you doing? Lloyd separated the two, preventing Daphne from beating Iris. Daphne was very disappointed, but what followed was beyond Daphne's expectations. Lloyd threw two wooden swords in front of them. In the sacred training ground, battles must be fought with swords. Start now. Daphne's eyes instantly flashed with excitement. Being able to solve it with a sword would be much more enjoyable. The strongest evil dragon, Cyrus, was tragically sealed, but his soul unexpectedly possessed a recently deceased 5-year-old girl. Unexpectedly, the father of the possessed body is Duke Hureth, who personally sealed him back then. Just as he ignited the flames of revenge, he discovered that he was cursed and wouldn't live long. To survive, Daphne tried every means to cultivate again, but was unreasonably provoked by her foster brother, Iris. Iris looked at Daphne lightly. You haven't even learned swordsmanship. How could you possibly be my opponent? Daphne silently tossed the wooden sword in her hand. You're too stupid. Having a brother like you is embarrassing. If you want to fight, then fight. Stop talking nonsense. Knight Commander Lloyd quietly observed the two. Although Daphne is the Duke's only heir, she is considered a stain on the family. She beats maids and tortures knights, and causes trouble all day long, which is annoying. It is said that she even ran to the conference room to declare war on the Duke. The Duke once ordered Lloyd and the others to endure it. But Daphne has gone too far. This made Lloyd unable to bear it any longer. This time, let young Master Iris teach her a lesson. But the next second, his pupils suddenly contracted. What's going on? That little girl who has never held a sword. Her sword stance is so perfect. Decades ago, Cyrus, the dragon who transformed into a human, traveled the world and encountered an old man revered as a swordsmanship master. At that time, Cyrus was very arrogant. Humans, this kind of thing. Isn't it just waving it around a few times? Who knew the old man would violently knock him down? Even if you are a dragon, you are not qualified to despise my sword. Cyrus was a little dazed after being beaten by a human for the first time, but the old man's confidence and determination inexplicably attracted him. So Cyrus followed the old man and began to learn swordsmanship. The old man demanded every detail of every movement, to the extreme. He had to practice each movement thousands of times. Although it was tiring, Cyrus felt fulfilled for the first time. Sweat and tears seemed to have meaning. He even began to enjoy this kind of life. Between one yuan and one glory, they formed a deep friendship that was never extended. Soon a year passed. When Cyrus came to the old man's hut as usual, he found him still lying in bed. Human, what are you going to teach me today? Stop sleeping in. Get up quickly. But what his fingertips touched was a piece of cold stiffness. He looked at the lifeless body on the bed and stood there in a daze. Are you dead? He asked several times, but only silence responded to him. Cyrus suddenly realized something he had long overlooked. Human life is short. Didn't you say you would wait for me to become a master builder? Tears fell uncontrollably. He didn't even know what this strange warm liquid represented. I don't even know your name. He built a small tomb for the old man. Only 2 words were engraved on the tombstone, human. That was also the first time he realized that he was a lonely existence. In the decades that followed, Cyrus never went to the human world again. He hid in the mountains, practicing the swordsmanship taught by the old man day after day, trying to forget those memories with humans. In Iris's shocked gaze, Daphne raised the wooden sword high and performed an impeccable vertical slash. Don't underestimate me, you stupid human. Aura, posture, eyes, all perfect. Just as the wooden sword was only 1 centimeter away from Iris's head, Daphne suddenly stopped moving. The next second, she fell straight down. Everyone was stunned. What exactly happened? Only Daphne herself knew that her stamina was only 10. That one move just now had completely exhausted it. Iris's voice trembled. Commander, was what I saw just now real? Have you ever seen a 5-year-old child swing a sword with such perfect posture? He couldn't believe it. A child who has never held a sword and is naturally weak actually has movements more standard than his own after 3 years of hard training. Is this bloodline? He suppressed the grievances in his heart and had people send Daphne back. He clenched the sword in his hand. From today on, Commander, you will personally teach me. I must not be overtaken by this little girl. After sleeping for half a day, Daphne finally recovered. She was used to the maid's all-round care and concern. She didn't expect that she would faint just by swinging the sword once. When she was a dragon, she never knew how to write the word tear. This is Knight Commander Lloyd requesting an audience. Daphne thought for a moment. Although she didn't like that commander, he was still one of the stronger people here. Might as well see him. Lloyd got straight to the point. Miss, have you ever studied swordsmanship before? Daphne shook her head. At least, this body hasn't. Lloyd was shocked. Could it really be talent? He quickly asked Daphne, do you have any plans to learn swordsmanship? Daphne said helplessly, of course, I want to. But you can see my body isn't well. I fainted after wielding a sword once. By the way, do you know how to improve stamina? It's simple, just keep running. Really? But Lloyd changed his tone. Even so, it might be dangerous for your body. You already possess a flower-like talent, but the vase holding it has cracks. Maintaining the status quo is the top priority. Lloyd's eyes showed regret. What a pity. Lin Ben might be able to inherit the Duke's mantle. After Lloyd left, Daphne clenched the blanket, her heart filled with anger. You actually want me to inherit that bastard's legacy? How dare you compare me to him? Do you think I'm going to all this trouble just to follow in his footsteps? I will surpass him, even if this body completely collapses. Soon, Daphne started running, from fainting before even finishing half a lap, to now being able to run 3 laps without stopping. Half a month passed. Her stamina finally increased to 30, and her strength also increased from 1 to 4. Daphne was very satisfied. It was going much smoother than she had imagined. If things continued like this, she would be able to get her revenge soon. Of course, the potion Teddy made for her also helped a lot. Lloyd watched Daphne's efforts. His impression of her also changed greatly. Miss, you've been running for half a month now, since you started training. The morale of the knights has also improved a lot. I am happy and grateful for this. Daphne was puzzled. What did this have to do with him? Miss, although your body is weak, you still insist on training. The knights have been inspired. Even the training atmosphere is much better than before. Daphne then noticed that when he first came, compared to the early morning, there were indeed more people training here. Miss, do you want to become stronger? Hearing Lloyd say this, Daphne stopped. Of course, otherwise why would I be doing this? Lloyd gazed at the girl's annealing appearance. Miss, only a few people know about the curse. Even young Master Iris thinks he has an incurable disease. He will continue to endure this pain, suffering, and injustice. Lloyd knelt on one knee, just looking into Daphne's eyes. Miss, please don't give up. Maybe this sounds presumptuous, but I still hope you can defeat him. You're such a chatterbox. Daphne's face was filled with confidence. I already said I would become stronger. I am originally a great being who doesn't know what giving up means. However, he quickly gave up. When running the 16th lap, he collapsed again due to exhaustion. At this moment, a wooden sword was thrown in front of him. It turned out to be Iris. Are you already giving up so soon? Get up and duel with me. We didn't settle things last time. Let's have a good fight this time. Daphne decisively refused. Can't you see I'm tired right now? Knowing my stamina is poor, you still challenge me. I don't have the energy to mess around with you right now. Go away. But Iris didn't want to leave. Isn't your body much better? It's just a little better. Not yet reaching my goal. Daphne pointed to Lloyd next to her. If you want to duel, find someone else. But Iris was fixated on him. No, you have to fight me. Even if it's just to humor me. I don't want to. Don't you understand? Iris was anxious. In desperation, he finally told the truth. I just want to see your swordsmanship. Daphne was stunned. Then a playful smile appeared on her face. You should have said so earlier. If you want to learn, you can just ask me to teach you. Why make up an excuse to duel? She winked at him. Come on, quickly call me teacher and let me hear it. The hot-tempered Duke's daughter was possessed by a dragon, and her personality changed drastically. From a weak and sickly person, she directly transformed into a swordsmanship master. Even her brother Iris, who had always treated her coldly, couldn't help but be attracted by her neat swordsmanship. He awkwardly wanted her to demonstrate her swordsmanship. Daphne saw through his little thoughts at a glance. Just say you want to learn. Call me teacher and let me hear it. Iris instantly blushed, but he stubbornly refused. Don't dream. What do you have that's worth learning from? Is that so? Then continue practicing your sword with that terrible posture. If you don't correct it when you're young, it will ruin your whole life. After struggling for a long time, the yearning for perfection finally overcame his pride. Iris squeezed out 2 words in a low voice, teacher. Daphne pretended not to hear. Iris finally went all out, teacher. Please teach me. Daphne laughed loudly. You should have said so earlier. Don't worry. An adult will of course guide the child to study hard. However, under Daphne's guidance, teaching was not smooth. Iris's movements were always not standard. Daphne was speechless. Are you an idiot? You can't even learn this? At Iris's strong request, Daphne personally demonstrates for him, seeing his perfect sword-swinging posture. Iris's eyes are full of admiration. This unparalleled, overwhelming talent can probably only be explained by bloodline. He is determined to train hard and one day surpass Daphne. But a violent cough interrupted him. Daphne suddenly vomits a mouthful of blood. Iris is so scared that he hurries to call the doctor. She was fine just now. Why is she vomiting blood again? At this moment, Daphne suddenly remembers the elf Dr. Teddy's reminder. The potion to enhance physical strength may have some side effects, such as feeling bloated. Daphne is so angry that her vision goes dark. Bloated to the point of vomiting blood? That stupid elf. Daphne didn't wake up until the next morning. She's almost used to the feeling of waking up after fainting. She wants to settle the score with that stupid elf immediately, but suddenly feels unusually light. She quickly investigates and finds that her stamina has actually increased to 50. It seems that guy was telling the truth. Then I'll spare his life for now. Daphne's confidence soars. She prepares to show off her skills at the training ground, but is unexpectedly stopped by the knights. Miss, you just vomited blood and fainted yesterday. You can't train so hard anymore. Daphne's face turns cold. How dare you guys stop me? The knights earnestly persuade her. We are worried about the miss's safety. If you insist on training, then kill us first. Unexpectedly, Daphne doesn't stand on ceremony with them. She directly pulls out a real sword to scare them. Then arrogant male voice interrupts the confrontation from behind. So, are you going to disobey the Earl's orders? It turns out it's the Earl's youngest son hunting, and he needs to borrow people from the Knight's order. But Lloyd disagrees. The Earl's son hunting? What kind of emergency is that? The Duke has ordered that the Knight's order shall not be mobilized for private matters. Besides, the Vice Captain and I are assisting. Young Master Iris with his training. We can't leave. The man reveals a hungry look. Our young master is the heir with noble blood. You wouldn't offend the Earl. For a wild child, would you? Lloyd endures his anger upon hearing this. Daphne shakes her head, lamenting that humans are both humble and pathetic. They oppress each other for the sake of so-called status. She originally didn't want to interfere in this matter, but notices Iris hiding behind a pillar. Meanwhile, the arrogant man is still unrelenting, disparaging Iris's commoner status. Are you still unclear about the situation? Once Duke Lloyd abdicates, those self-righteous young masters and misses will be kicked out. Even the only heir is about to die. You'd better find another way out quickly. Are you done? Daphne's sudden appearance startles the man. Miss, why are you here? Of course, to send you to your death. Have you finished your last words? Her cold words terrify the man. Iris holds back his tears, but the next second, Daphne's warm words sweep away the gloom in his heart. Iris is a child of the Aegean family. Even without blood ties, he is recognized by the Aegean family. Daphne warns the man in a sinister tone. If you still want to deny it, then keep talking. I will personally arrange for you and the Duke to meet. This completely terrifies the man. He apologizes and begs for mercy repeatedly, but Daphne doesn't intend to let them go. But I'm in a bad mood right now. If just an apology can be forgiven, then what's the point of punishment? She points to the ground with a fierce look. Shove your heads into the ground. Thus, a strange scene appears on the training ground. Several people are seen with their butts in the air and their heads stuck in the ground, obediently accepting the Duke's daughter's punishment. Old Lloyd silently gives Daphne a thumbs up, but Daphne only feels in her heart that the human hierarchy is quite ridiculous. But if anyone dares to bully the weak in front of her, she will never stand idly by. At this moment, Iris appears holding a bouquet of flowers. He hands them to Daphne with a blushing face. Please accept these. But he awkwardly emphasizes, it's not a thank you, just a celebration of your recovery. Iris is not actually ashamed of his adopted status. When his mother was alive, she always said he was the son she was most proud of. He has always cherished Iris and the name Aegean, but sometimes the malice in the outside world can make him waver in his self-worth. And today, Daphne's unwavering recognition makes him happier than he imagined. He looks at Daphne with gratitude. Thank you. And please don't do those crazy things anymore. Daphne is about to explode after hearing this, then realizes that he mistakenly believes her vomiting blood was because of him. Daphne reaches out and takes the flowers. I'll make an exception and accept your apology this time. She pulls out a flower and gives it back to Iris. Listen carefully. When people do something wrong, no matter who the other person is, they must apologize immediately. The self that admits mistakes, the self that overcomes shame when apologizing, and the self-reflection that resolves not to repeat the mistake. These together constitute a person's pride. This is the foundation of the self. Don't abandon it for that pitiful self-esteem. Iris takes the flower. You're right. But as soon as you start lecturing, I feel inexplicably uneasy. Daphne's eyes instantly dim. In the years when he was called the Calamity Dragon, all beings instinctively rejected him. No matter what he said, he only received reprimands in return. As expected, saying these things is still meaningless. But I understand. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the trouble I caused you before. I'll be more careful in the future. Daphne's eyes widen in surprise. This is the first time someone has been willing to accept his words. Seeing the relationship between the two become harmonious, Lloyd and the knights also feel relieved. This is really different from before. Another month has passed in the blink of an eye. After constant training, Daphne's stamina has increased to 70, and her strength has increased to 10. She can now do practical sparring. Since last time, Daphne has been training with Iris. Although, this kid is always chattering non-stop. But it's quite interesting. Is this what they call resonance? Lord Daphne, why don't you try establishing resonance with the elves too? The poor elves are trembling now. It turns out that because of the potion's side effects, Daphne is punishing Teddy by making him do a handstand. Teddy cries injustice. I already explained to you that there were side effects. You didn't pay attention yourself. Originally, Daphne was considering letting it slide because the potion had a good effect. But this guy actually ignored her summons 3 times in a row. That's too much. Looks like I still have to learn summoning magic first. Otherwise, you'll just treat me like air. It's such an injustice. I was really busy. Only Teddy is shedding tears of grievance. All you do every day is fight, fight, fight. It's really too difficult. Saying that, Daphne shot him a glare. Teddy can be a coward. You misheard. It wasn't me. I was talking about another fallen elf inside me. Daphne was speechless. His style changed. How about cutting off half of your life source to broaden your horizons? Teddy instantly broke out in a cold sweat. The life source is like a heart to an elf, helping the elf to merge with nature. Once it's cut off, they will be rejected by nature and become an incompetent being. He immediately hugged Daphne's leg and cried, Your Majesty, spare me. Punish me however you want. But please don't touch my life source. Then hand over the magic crystal that gave you your magic. It's too slow to increase magic power through cultivation. I want to try using your magic. Let's start with 100. Teddy had no choice but to succumb to her tyranny. Then he presented a new potion as bail. This is a new potion I've created that can lift your curse and restore your original power. Daphne's eyes lit up immediately. Not bad. Thank you for your praise, Your Majesty. But the duration of the effect is a bit short. About 10 seconds. Daphne was silent for a moment. You're grounded. You keep developing for me. Yes, Your Majesty. The only daughter of a 5-year-old duke appeared alone in the wilderness and walked straight to the robbery scene with swords flashing. This surprised the robbers. Little friend, Uncle will sell you to a fun place. Okay. It turns out that not long ago, in order to quickly increase her magic power, Daphne, under the guidance of Jinling Teddy, came to the Yingshiha Mountains on the border of the duchy. This is also where the elves live. Daphne felt the rich Jinling aura and prepared to practice magic. She told Teddy to guard around in case her mood is disturbed. I might lose control and go berserk. Teddy agreed verbally, but couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Not only do I have to watch the dragon practice magic, but I also have to insist on being a guard. If someone sees it, they will definitely think I'm crazy. He really couldn't figure it out, even if it's to experience human life. Why did this lord choose this body of a little girl who knows nothing about her family? It doesn't look like it was voluntary. Teddy only felt that his life was bitter. How did he encounter such a crazy dragon? Until dusk. Daphne slowly opened her eyes. Magic power has increased from 1 to a scar. The effect is not bad. Just as the two were about to leave, a shrill cry for help suddenly came from a distance. Help! Daphne paused, looking in the direction of the sound. Teddy urged her to leave quickly and not to meddle in other people's business. Let's go back quickly. Daphne frowned in dissatisfaction. You elves are really selfish. I'm going to save them. But those humans have nothing to do with you. Daphne's eyes were firm. Because that is my great mission. All things in the world are intertwined with cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. But how the scales of cause and effect are tilted often depends on the position For example, the golden dragon Jinchi, as a fragment of God, also rises up and releases its breath, taking countless lives. Cause and effect will still tilt in its favor, justifying everything as good deeds. And as a disaster, the black dragon Ceres is misunderstood and bears all the blame and anger, simply because its nature is evil. Even so, the disaster still made its own choice. When Daphne arrived at the scene of the conflict alone, she saw a group of robbers robbing a merchant caravan. When the robbers saw this lone little girl in fancy clothes, they were planning to kidnap her and sell her for money. Daphne calmly scanned the audience, counting the number of people a guard from the caravan tried his best to block the robber leader and shouted at Daphne, "Kid, run! I'll hold him back." But he was knocked to the ground in the blink of an eye. Daphne walked straight to the robbers and drank it all in one gulp. Humble humans kill each other and meet a humble death. But in front of my great Ceres, I must not ignore it. Everyone stared blankly at the little girl who suddenly appeared. In less than 10 seconds, she knocked down 13 robbers using a wooden sword. Although this child's behavior and tone seemed to be quite something, but her movements were flawless. Looking at his golden hair and his incredible strength, the chairman walked up to the girl and tentatively asked, "Are you Lady Daphne Iglion?" Daphne glanced at him impatiently. "Who are you? How do you know me?" The chairman was moved to tears. He held her hand tightly. "I am Edhart, the chairman of the Golden Grail Guild. It is my honor to meet Lady Daphne. Thank you so much for saving us. We survived because of you. Yes, if it weren't for Lady Daphne, we would have surely died. Thank you for saving us, Lady Daphne." The merchants' voices of gratitude rose and fell. Daphne, the person in question, "Are you thanking me?" The chairman was moved to tears. Yes, who else could it be? We will never forget this kindness. In the hundreds of years he lived as Ceres, even when he saved all the humans swept away by the tsunami, he never heard a word of thanks. But since possessing this body, this is the second time. Could it be because he was forcibly possessed into a human body? Has the reaction of karma changed as well? If I continue to live as Daphne, can I escape the year of calamity and live an ordinary life? The karmic fate that has plagued him for hundreds of years was so easily broken. He curled the corners of his mouth in self-deprecation. At this moment, Teddy came up and reminded him softly, "My lord, although it's a bit of a mood killer, you may not have time to be moved right now. What's wrong? That medicine you drank earlier is actually a stimulant. When the effect wears off ... Before he could finish, Daphne suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood. Inside the Duke's office, Adjutant Bolin was reporting to the Duke about the caravan being robbed. The Golden Grail Guild was secretly transporting the Duke's Meadows sacred object, but was ambushed in advance. Clearly, the news has been leaked. Only the chairman and vice chairman knew the details. The chairman seems to be unaware of this matter. The Duke has decided to personally interrogate the vice chairman. Bolin paused with a hint of disbelief. According to the chairman, when they were attacked, Miss Daphne used a wooden sword to repel all the robbers. The Duke raised his eyes, his gaze full of suspicion. But Bolin has confirmed with other guild members that the situation is true. Why did she save them? The Duke muttered to himself, north and shoulder nearsighted confusion. He ordered Bolin to continue digging into the robber's background while he picked up the box containing the sacred object and left the office. At the same time, Daphne fell into a chaotic dream. He was still that fearsome demon. One day, he saw a village engulfed in flames and wanted to use the nearby lake water to put out the fire, but it was just a drop in the bucket. He dared not use weapons or magic for fear of accidentally hurting humans. He could only circle over the village, repeatedly shouting with amplifying magic, "Humans, come out of your houses immediately. I will protect you with magic." But in the end, no one was willing to come out. He watched the village turn into ruins and the bodies huddled together in the houses. He suddenly realized that compared to the fierce flames that engulfed the houses, what humans feared more was himself, the greater calamity outside the door. These humans who could have survived all died because they feared him. The despair in the dream surged like a tide. "I can't save anyone. I am the calamity itself." The scene suddenly changed. He became Daphne again, surrounded by the excited merchants who had survived the robbery. "We all survived because of Lady Daphne. We will never forget this kindness." The words of gratitude were so sincere, forming a sharp contrast with his fate of being feared for hundreds of years. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly woke up from the dream. He couldn't tell which was the dream, but perhaps the chains of karma had been broken. Daphne sat up and was surprised to find the Duke sitting by the bed. You're awake. Daphne's mood instantly worsened. Get to the point. If not, get out. The Duke stared at his face and suddenly asked, I've always been curious. Why your tone of voice suddenly became so strange? Daphne rolled her eyes, too lazy to recall. The Duke looked away. Never mind. Just answer to questions for me, and I'll leave. Daphne exclaimed, agitated. My daughter almost died. And you don't even offer a word of concern after she wakes up. And just interrogate me. How interesting. The Duke remained expressionless. You said you don't acknowledge me as your father. In that case, I will treat you as an independent individual, rather than a daughter. If you don't like it, then go back to being my daughter. Daphne felt disgusted. Who wants to be your daughter? First question. Did you know the merchants were transporting the family's sacred object? Daphne looked blank. Sacred objects are the dragon's gift, passed down through generations in every family. If you want to see it, I can show you. Not interested. Second, why did you save those merchants? Because they were being bullied by bad people, so I stepped in to save them. Daphne's matter-of-fact demeanor confused the Duke. You need to explain in more detail. Otherwise, the Duke's investigators will come looking for you. Daphne was impatient. Isn't it natural for the strong to protect the weak? Natural. The Duke savored these words. But just a few months ago, a maid was fired just for stepping on his shadow. And there was the time. He threatened the chef with a knife because his food was cold. That cold-blooded young lady, compared to the girl before me, who speaks of the strong, protecting the weak. Are they really the same person? Does being brought back from the dead really change a person so much? But his curse is still there, and his body is the same. Questions are over. Get out. I want to rest. The Duke issued a warning. If you're planning something, you better stop right now. I'm already tired of your past misdeeds. Thank you for your advice. The Duke handed him the box containing the relic. This is the path of the White Lion. Opening it while sleeping will help you recover your strength. Even if you don't want to look at it, you better. You earned this yourself. The Duke left after saying that. Duck looked at the relic in his hand and couldn't help but complain. He comes to deliver something with that attitude. Humans are so hard to understand. A 5-year-old girl with just a wooden sword instantly took down a dozen robbers. This shocking news quickly spread throughout the aristocratic social circles in the underground casino where nobles secretly exchange information. Several richly dressed men and women were discussing the Duke's relic being stolen. Has the Duke found out who's behind it? Not yet, no matter how they torture them. They can't pry open the robbers' mouths. It's strange. They don't even have a single clue about who's behind it. But more attractive than the robbers' identities is the little girl who defeated the robber gang. And as a witness, Gold Edhard, the president of the Holy Grail Guild, naturally became the target of nobles eager to find out information. Edhard pretended to be mysterious. My stories are very expensive. A long-haired man in a cloak quietly approached and poured him a glass of wine. This is a 30-year-old Holy Grace wine. Can you continue telling this story? With the fine wine in his throat, Edhard immediately opened his mouth. It turned out that the merchant caravan had been safe all the way to the Duke's territory. Moreover, the escorting guards were the elite of the Ohal mercenary group. Each of them was almost a sword master and could even serve as a prince's guard. But such a lineup was vulnerable to the robbers. Just when I thought I was going to die, a child suddenly appeared and knocked all the robbers to the ground, using only a small wooden sword. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. And that child is none other than Miss Daphne, the daughter of Duke Agawan. Edhard then looked worried. But after he finished off the robbers, he vomited blood and fainted. The accompanying elven doctor said he was overworked. The nobles were amazed. It seems that the willful young lady has really changed. After hearing this, the long-haired man curled the corners of his lips into an inscrutable arc. He left silently and walked out of the casino. He took off his cloak. Blood-red eyes flashed with golden light. You never disappoint, after all. Lord Cyrus. A few days later, the maid rushed into the room excitedly. Miss, look what I brought you. But she saw Daphne lying stiffly on the ground. Help me up first. Since knocking down the robbers last time, whether it was the side effects of the medicine or other reasons, Daphne suffered from muscle pain and was bedridden for 3 days. Even so, the recovery speed was still faster than expected. She looked at the relic, the white stone lamp, by the bed. Although I don't want to admit it, this thing does seem to be a bit powerful. There must be something strange about it. I have to be careful. It's an invitation from Empress. Miss, it's a wonderful ball invitation from Marquis Finch. This is the first time you've received one in half a year. Daphne was puzzled. Why half a year? Don't you remember? Half a year ago, you made a scene at the tea party held at Earl Adele's house. You beat up more than a dozen children in one go. You even broke Master Adele's nose. Daphne sighed helplessly. I know. Put it away. That Teddy guy. He's playing missing again under the guise of making medicine. I haven't been able to contact him for days. The progress is so slow. When will I be strong enough to take revenge? Daphne, who couldn't stay idle, came to the training ground again. She was about to practice magic when she suddenly found something shiny on the ground. It's actually a magic stone. Seeing that no one was around, she picked it up and prepared to take it for herself. But when she looked up, she found another one not far away. I'm so lucky today. She happily picked up 3 in a row. As expected, the Great Me is also very lucky. Unexpectedly, when she looked up, there was a figure squatting next to her. Daphne reacted quickly and punched the person in the face. Who are you? Did you deliberately lure me here? No wonder you kept walking to remote places. The girl who was punched grimaced in pain, although it was wrong of me to suddenly appear. You can't hit people. Daphne stared at him warily. Who exactly are you? What are you doing here? The girl was stunned. Her eyes dimmed. Well, I haven't left my room for a while. You probably don't remember me. She lowered her head. His voice grew softer. Then, gathering his courage, he shouted, I'm your sister. Daphne looked squarely at the girl's aggrieved little face. You say you're my sister? You wouldn't have forgotten my name, would you? My name is Vipera. As he spoke, he suddenly became lost in his own world. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. It seems like it's getting harder and harder for me to communicate with people. Anyway, no one likes me. Sometimes I even think it might be better to be alone in my room and forgotten. He suddenly came back to his senses, eagerly trying to answer you. But I'm asking you for a favor. Could you let me see your elf doctor? Vipera had already prepared to be rejected. For this request, he practiced his words all night. Okay, I'll help you see him. Daphne agreed too readily, which made Vipera feel a strong sense of unreality because the Daphne in his memory was a complete brat. Look at the color of your hair. It's like weeds. It's so ugly. I get annoyed just looking at you. The Daphne of that time could always find ways to humiliate him, as if hurting others was a matter of course. He looked at his dark green hair. His mother had clearly said that this color was beautiful, even after being hurt again and again. Vipera still followed his mother's wishes and wanted to take good care of Daphne, but every time he tried to get close, he was met with more violent beatings and scolding, no matter how bad Daphne was. Vipera endured it silently. After his mother passed away, he was just a commoner girl who was lucky enough to be adopted. He was afraid of being hated and driven away, and just wanted to spend his life in this place where he could still feel his mother's presence. Eventually, he locked himself in his room. He locked himself in for half a year, for this only chance to see the elf doctor. He struggled for a whole month. He even prepared to be beaten and scolded, but he didn't expect Daphne to agree so easily. Daphne looked at his dazed expression. What's wrong? Didn't I promise you? Forget it if you don't want to see him. Matching his conditioned reflex, Vipera blurted out, I want to see him. I really need to. Please don't hit me. In Daphne's voice, there was a hint of imperceptible sigh. Don't be afraid. I won't hit you. From now on, I won't hit anyone for no reason anymore. After confirming again and again, Vipera finally relaxed. Thank you. It turned out that Vipera always failed to make potions. He heard that the elf doctors were very knowledgeable about herbalism, so he wanted to ask Coda for help. Daphne was puzzled. Aren't dwarves more professional when it comes to making potions? Speaking of dwarves, Vipera became very angry. It turned out that when he asked the dwarves for herbs, he always encountered a lot of difficulties. Every time, he had to do some strange things to get the herbs. So he doubted the quality of those herbs, because he heard that elves don't lie. So he wanted to ask an elf to clarify. Daphne looked at the girl in front of her, knowing in her heart that she was trying to make potions at such a young age, which meant she had a good talent. But he might not realize it himself, that he seemed to have won the hearts of the dwarves. After all, if the dwarves didn't like someone, they wouldn't even bother with them. The problem is, does Teddy really not lie? You can see him, but I have a condition. Tell me information about the Duke, that guy's weaknesses, opportunities to kill him, things like that. And also about me. Tell me everything you know. Lepido was a little speechless, although it was good that he wasn't being beaten. Was it really okay to let Daphne become like this? On the training ground, Daphne ran even harder than usual, recalling Vipera's words in her mind. The Duke's mansion adopted 3 children, who were actually brought by Daphne's mother. After their mother passed away, their relationship with the Duke became distant. In order to carry out the Emperor's orders, the Duke had to leave the mansion twice a month at the busiest times, and the order he recently received was to kill the Black Dragon Disaster, whose root of death was the Emperor's will. Then why does the Emperor want to kill him? Daphne stopped and looked up at the sky. Has he ever brought harm to this empire? Even though he is a disaster, he has always been law-abiding. At least he hasn't committed any major mistakes. But why do they have to provoke him? Daphne gritted her teeth in anger. That bastard Duke. If he hadn't ambushed my left eye, he wouldn't be a match for me at all. A flame of revenge ignited in his eyes. Then I'll kill the Duke first, and then get rid of the Emperor. Not only the Duke's mansion, I will also flatten the palace. I will trample all of you under my feet. Cronus' soul accidentally possessed. The Duke's already dead little daughter. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye, but Daphne became increasingly worried. The original owner of this body was assassinated by a black magician. Now that the news of his defeat of the bandits has spread, those black magicians must know that he is still alive. What's even more shocking is that the Emperor ordered the Duke to attack Syros at the same time that Daphne was assassinated. This is no coincidence. The elf Teddy was also very surprised. Black magic is something that Lord Syros regards as mysterious, but they are now attacking Daphne. Miss Daphne, this is simply too contradictory. Have you discovered something? Teddy couldn't hide his excitement. This kind of past and present life, love-hate entanglement theme, is really suitable for writing novels. Shut up, m'lord. Yes, m'lord. Daphne asked Teddy to find a way to help him enter the Duke's mansion as supervisor, because outside the villa where he lives, many knots have been set up, but the supervisor has no protection. If he shows up, the supervisor black magician will definitely take action. Teddy also feels that the barrier here is so suffocating. But even if we successfully lure out the assassin, we will still gain nothing. Daphne also knows that even if he catches the assassin, the truth may still be shrouded in mist. At this moment, he suddenly thought of someone, the one who claimed to know the future, and predicted that he would become worthless. The Great Sage. He must know something. Check the whereabouts of the Great Sage. Teddy pointed to himself with an incredulous look. You don't want me to go, do you? M'lord actually made such a difficult task sound as easy as running errands for a neighbor. When I was running around collecting information, the time for taking medicine would be less. Then I may not be able to hint to you to send medicine. Daphne curled the corners of her mouth and showed a sly smile. Don't worry. I have already found a disciple for you. Teddy had a bad feeling. It's not a human, is it? You're right. From now on, you will be responsible for teaching that child, Xiao. Teddy refused without even thinking. Absolutely not. Even if I am not as good as even one of Milord's toes, I am also a famous elf. How could I accept an ordinary human as a disciple? If that child is gifted, you won't have to make medicine yourself in the future. Teddy's face changed instantly after hearing this. Actually, I have wanted to accept a disciple for a long time. May I ask, what is the name of this child who is about to become my proud student? What's his name? I will definitely train him. Tio become the most outstanding alchemist among humans. His name is Vipera. Good luck to you. Soon it was time for the Marquis, Ho Junfu, to hold the ball. Early in the morning, Daphne was being tossed around by 2 maids. Li Fu kept changing shoes. Daphne couldn't help but support me. Can't I just dress up casually? Oh my god, what are you saying, miss? You will definitely be the most dazzling one at the ball today. Daphne sighed helplessly, but he already feels tired now. I heard that this is his first public appearance in half a year. People's curiosity about him has probably faded. Why not just show up and slip away? At the same time, at the Marquis of Fungi's mansion, the Marchioness was repeatedly instructing her daughter, Briza. When Daphne Agawin Palace maid arrives, what should you do? I will go up and greet her. When she is in a good mood, I will offer her desserts. If she is always in a bad mood, then try to stay away, rather than getting close and getting beaten. It is safer to keep a distance. The Marchioness nodded with relief. Although she repeatedly instructed her, she was still a little uneasy. But this opportunity is really rare. She must not miss it. The story of the palace maid exterminating the bandits has already become a hot topic in aristocratic circles. Everyone wants to see with their own eyes the protagonist of the rumors, Daphne. But they dare not approach her easily. After all, half of the nobles in the capital have been beaten by him. And Briza has never met this miss, because Daphne confirmed that the number of guests attending tonight is twice as many as usual. The Marchioness prayed secretly that nothing unexpected would happen. The ball has just begun, and guests are already coming over to inquire when Daphne will arrive. Because the journey is far, it will be a little later. But since she replied that she would come, she definitely will. Some people even turned down other invitations, just to witness this legendary 5-year-old miss who defeated the bandits. What kind of deity is she? A man walked over and said to Dakev, do all the ladies in attendance believe this rumor? A 5-year-old child actually defeated the bandits that even the Ohal mercenary group could hardly deal with? Isn't this just the guild leader exaggerating? His words caused a burst of whispers. Many noble ladies began to think. I heard that Miss Daphne is weak and sick, and seems to have an incurable disease. Yes, so the Duke let him do whatever he wants, right? Seeing the public opinion turning, the man showed a smug look. A dying child suddenly defeated a group of bandits. This is completely illogical. Recently, Duke Agawin has not received an audience with His Majesty the Emperor. I suspect they are deliberately creating news to hype up this miss. The Martian is suddenly interrupted. But this is just your guess, and there is no evidence. The man smiled sinisterly. You are right, but can't we verify his ability? At this moment, the servant announced loudly, Daphne Aggie, one palace maid miss, arrives. Daphne, in a white dress, slowly walked into the hall, instantly becoming the focus of the audience. People whispered, is that child Daphne? She looks more delicate than I imagined. The guild leader's words are just boasting, right? However, the noble ladies still want to go up and talk to him. Only Daphne herself looked blank. Why is everyone staring at me? The girl possessed by the evil dragon attended a human ball for the first time, but felt obvious isolation. Everyone was watching him from a distance. No one took the initiative to approach. Daphne frowned. It seems the original owner of this body had a worse reputation than I thought. Daphne decided to take the initiative to break the ice and ask the children her age for some information. She walked towards the three little girls gathered together. You over there, what are you doing? But his self-proclaimed friendly smile looked so terrifying in the eyes of these children. Their faces turned pale instantly when they saw him. Daphne was a little confused. Are they sick? At this moment, Breeza was the first to react and stammered. Please don't be angry, Miss Daphne. My name is Breeza Finch. We're just too surprised. We didn't expect you to come over and say hello in person. We didn't respond in time. Sorry, she turned around and gestured to the two girls behind her, who were still trembling to apologize. It's natural to feel nervous and in awe when meeting you. Can you forgive us this time? The children reacted instantly and repeatedly begged for Daphne's forgiveness. This overly cautious explanation completely changed in Daphne's eyes. I see. Are you saying that because I am a great being, you are afraid and submit to me? Breeza obviously didn't expect him to understand it this way, but in order not to anger him, she nodded repeatedly in agreement. Because you are the great Miss Daphne. This is completely natural. She eagerly invited Daphne to sit down. The two girls also brought him snacks and drinks. Please feel free to ask if you need anything else. This treatment made Daphne feel quite comfortable. I have to show off when I get back. This pink-haired girl is also quite clever. I can make him my direct subordinate. Suddenly, a boy pushed Breeza away. Get out of the way, you bootlicker. He swaggered up to Daphne, threatening Daphne Achian. From the day you broke my nose, I've been waiting for this day. Today I will take revenge on you and show you what a real fight is. Daphne glanced at him lazily. Who is this? Is he one of the unlucky guys the original Daphne messed with? He looked at Breeza, who had been pushed to the ground, and frowned slightly. Where are you looking? Don't think about ambushing me like last time. I heard you also practiced swordsmanship. Then let's have a fair duel. He threw a wooden sword at Daphne's feet and continued to provoke loudly. A villain and liar like you doesn't understand what honor is, right? At this moment, in a hidden corner on the second floor, Duke Brown was quietly overlooking this farce with a sneer on his lips. Recently, Duke Achian has not been summoned by the Emperor. He must be desperate. Therefore, he is hyping up his daughter, creating false rumors to gain attention. With just a little provocation, given this young lady's irritable nature, she will definitely fall into the trap. And his son, Mark, as a newly promoted knight apprentice, will be able to expose his bluff in public. All the heroic rumors about him will turn into a complete scandal. Cross Achian. Blame yourself for asking for trouble. Mark picked up the sword and pointed it at Daphne. If you apologize now, I might let you off. Otherwise, I'll give you a lesson. Daphne finally stood up slowly. Obviously, you will only be knocked out by me in one move. Don't you even care about your own face? How utterly foolish. These words accurately stung Mark's self-esteem. He instantly became furious. I am a knight apprentice. Pick up the sword quickly. I'll show you my strength. I don't need a sword to deal with someone like you. Come at me. Mark roared and charged towards Daphne with his sword. Daphne pulled out a handkerchief and gently dodged at the moment of the attack, actually wrapping the sword firmly. Mark widened his eyes in horror. How is this possible? Daphne pulled the wooden sword over and with the other hand grabbed his collar. She whispered in his ear, you want to get close to me. You're 100 years too early. Brat? The next second, Mark fell heavily. He collapsed on the ground in disbelief. Impossible. Daphne looked at him with disgust. You actually pushed a little girl? How rude. This scene stunned all the guests. Miss Daphne defeated. The knight apprentice with one move Duke Brown's face turned pale. Could the rumors be true? Daphne walked towards Breeza. Are you hurt? Breeza straightened up and carefully held her hand. I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. Her cheeks flushed red. Could it be that Miss Daphne fought for me? She looks so warm and kind, completely unlike the terrifying rumors. Daphne sighed wearily. If you're okay, go get me some refreshments. I feel a little dizzy after that just now. Okay, Miss Daphne. Looking at the gradually gathering crowd with different expressions, Daphne decided to leave first. She came to the rooftop, breathing in the fresh air. Becoming a popular dragon is too tiring. This body is so bad that it makes him annoyed. He couldn't help but complain in a low voice. When will this damn body get better? But things are slowly getting better, aren't they? Hearing a man's voice behind him, Daphne turned around abruptly. A long-haired man was elegantly bowing to him. A deep smile flashed in his eyes. Long time no see, Miss Daphne. Or rather, should I call you Lord Cyrus? The girl is thinking about life on the rooftop. Suddenly, a long-haired handsome man appeared silently behind her. Long time no see, Miss Daphne. Or should I say, should I call you Lord Cyrus? Daphne was immediately excited to see him. Great Sage, I've been looking for you everywhere. The Great Sage gave a punchable smile. I didn't expect you to miss me so much, my lord. It's so touching. But what you see now is just my fandom. Seeing her dream of beating him up shattered, Daphne suppressed her anger and got straight to the point. Did you know all along that I would be stuck in this body? The Great Sage stroked his chin, pretending to be profound. That's a long story, but I don't have much time. In short, it's because Lord Cyrus is dead. So he possessed this human body. Daphne clenched her fists. Are you just stating the obvious? If I reveal the answer now, it wouldn't be fun. But I'm here to remind you. Be careful of those black mages. They will take action soon. Black magic was originally used by those humans who revered Cyrus as a god. In order to use black magic, they burn their own life force to control the power of death. Therefore, their power is limited and dwindling. Daphne didn't think much of it. Why should I be careful of such insignificant beings? The Great Sage gave a mysterious smile. People pushed to the brink are capable of anything. You'll understand the answer once you find your original body. Daphne didn't expect that her dragon body still existed. Before she could ask, the Great Sage's phantom had already begun to fade away. Take care. I look forward to seeing you again. Daphne wanted to chase after him, but the phantom disappeared without a trace. She only felt like she had been played. The dignity of the great dragon was actually being manipulated by a human. Damn Great Sage. I will definitely make you my #1 target. You just wait. Just then, the entire building suddenly began to shake violently. Before Daphne could figure out what was happening, she felt a strong aura of death erupting from the ballroom. Recalling the Great Sage's warning, Daphne felt a sense of foreboding. In the hall, the collapse caused by the explosion threw the guests into chaos. The Marchioness stumbled through the ruins, anxious. Where are the children? We must save the children first. But a man rudely pushed her away. Get out of the way. I need to get out. I can't just stay here for nothing. He grabbed his servant by the collar. Take me out now. Find me a secret passage with few people. Suddenly, a stone hit the back of his head. The man turned around in pain, only to see Daphne questioning him aggressively. Do you think only your life is precious, ignoring others to save your own life? Didn't you hear? Everyone shouting to save the children first. These words left the man speechless. His face flushed. Daphne turned around and handed the rescued little girl to the Marchioness. Take this child away first. Be careful. The Marchioness nodded solemnly, picked up the child, and left quickly. Daphne continued to search in the chaos, sending the children to safety one by one. The aura of death continued to spread. There must be an epicenter somewhere. I have to find the source before it completely collapses. At this moment, Daphne smelled a pungent odor. A raging fire had somehow ignited on the scene. Thick smoke filled the air. The situation was getting more and more complicated. Seeing a little girl coughing incessantly, Daphne handed her a handkerchief to cover her mouth and nose. Human children are fragile. They could suffocate from the smoke with the slightest carelessness. She shouted to several adults who were escaping. That child over there is in bad shape. Get him out of here quickly. The others responded immediately, took the child, and rushed towards the exit. The fire was getting bigger and bigger, but Daphne's heart grew even stronger. She stood tall in the firelight. The weak must be protected. I, the great dragon Cyrus, will definitely get everyone out safely. After unremitting efforts, most people had already escaped the danger. At this moment, the man who had just taken The child out returned. Miss Daphne. The rescue team will be here soon. You should leave quickly too. Let's get out together. Looking at his sincere gaze, Daphne gave him the dragon's approval. You passed. You can leave. I need to go back in and check again. But miss, you're also injured. Don't you realize that the man was greatly moved? Such a selfless and courageous child. Why did she have to suffer such criticism before? As a newspaper operator, he must make Daphne's nobility widely known. The next second, he picked up Daphne and rushed out. Daphne struggled desperately. She hadn't found the source of the death's aura yet. Just then, a faint cry for help came from deep within the fire. Daphne broke free from his arms and rushed back into the flames without looking back. 5-year-old Daphne rushed into the fire alone, searching hard in the scorching flames and thick smoke. I clearly heard a cry for help here just now. Where is it? Finally, she saw a curled up pink figure. It's actually Breeza. Daphne rushed over without hesitation. Everyone has evacuated. What are you still doing here? Seeing Daphne, Brisha's tears welled up instantly. I'm sorry. My leg is pinned by a rock. I can't move it. Don't be afraid. I can lift this rock. I'll count to 3, then pull your leg out. Daphne braced her hands against the rock. She finally lifted it with all her strength. Brisha was finally freed. He noticed Daphne's hand was cut by gravel, bleeding profusely. His eyes were full of heartache. Daphne casually wiped her hand on her skirt. Now is not the time to worry about this. Are there any other people here besides you? As soon as the explosion happened, I evacuated the other children first. I wanted to come back and take another look, but I didn't expect to be pinned by a rock. When Yan Daphne gave him a surprised look. Admiration in his eyes, not bad. You did a good job. Worthy of being the one I took a fancy to at a glance. Not detailed. He reached out to Brisha. The entrance is blocked. Let's find another exit together. Just then, Daphne felt a strong and cold breath. He stared intently at a table not far away, slowly leaning closer. There was a box hidden under the table. He carefully took out the box. It's actually a bomb. Felisa looked panicked. What should we do? Can we just dismantle it? Daphne looked solemn. It was made with black magic. It can't be dismantled at all. He felt the surging aura of death within. Once it explodes, the entire Marquis's mansion will be reduced to ashes. The people outside and the people who just escaped will be spared. We must find a way to deal with him here. Brisha's voice trembled with fear. Are we going to die here? Who said we were going to die? What's there to be afraid of with me here? Suddenly, Daphne had a flash of inspiration. In Eras's magic and black magic, it comes from the negative energy of death. These two forces are almost identical in nature. As long as the energy difference can be handled, it can be absorbed and transformed into one's own magic. That means this black magic bomb is for Daphne. It's simply a delicious meal. I'm going to detonate this bomb now. You stay away. As soon as these words came out, directly scared Jabuli Shah. Daphne pointed to a blocked passage. The shockwave of the explosion will blow away the rubble. You take this opportunity to escape. Wait, what about you, Miss Daphne? I must stop the explosion from spreading. And for me, it used to be an opportunity to increase magic power. Daphne is very firm. A determined light flashed in his eyes. He couldn't wait to urge Brisha to prepare to leave. Regardless of obstruction, he ran to the center of the hall with the bomb in his arms. But all this in Brisha's eyes. It was clearly Daphne who sacrificed herself to save everyone. A heroic act. It's still so natural. Thinking of Daphne reaching out to help her before. Rushing into the fire to save herself. Brisha was moved to tears. I can't let Miss Daphne die like this. And Daphne is concentrating on mobilizing the device. Magic power in the body. Let me turn this explosion into power. Burning down the woods next to the potential territory. Duke Agent flashed down the last magic hand with his sword. Last crown. Bolin looked at the distorted monster on the ground. The appearance of these monsters is unprecedented because they are all chimeras that have been forcibly fused. The Duke wiped the blood from his sword. His eyes gradually turned cold. Only black magicians can make this kind of energy transformation. Only black magicians. And these monsters are just the beginning. He is already against the black magician. These guys are deeply tired. In the future, cleaning up monsters will be handed over to the knights. Bolin looked at the Duke's back. I don't feel good. The Duchess died at the hands of a black magician. And Miss Daphne is in very bad condition now. No one is better than the Duke. Hate black magicians even more. I don't know what his heart is under his calm appearance. What kind of torment it should be. Just then, a loud noise suddenly came from a distance. The two looked up at the same time. I saw thick smoke billowing in the direction of the disagreement Marquis territory. The Duke sensed the magical vibration immediately. The brow is a kind of death breath. The pace of matching magicians is faster than expected. He stared at the burning building, suddenly remembered something. Then he strode towards there. Little girl discovered a very powerful black magic bomb. The next second, he detonated it without hesitation. In the loud noise, the people outside the building were frightened. Then they discovered in horror, Daphne, who was only 5 years old, was actually a surging black-purple magic vortex, tightly surrounded. In fact, Daphne is trying her best, absorb the black magic energy generated by the explosion. But this power is far beyond his expectations. The speed of diffusion is faster than he absorbs. Daphne is quite struggling. His whole body trembled slightly due to excessive force. If it weren't for Teddy's 10-second effective potion, he probably couldn't even do the persistence at this moment. However, black magic is like a tide. Impact his internal organs. The pain almost made him want to give up, release all the energy. But reason tells him absolutely not. Once you let go, not only will this body be destroyed in an instant, everyone present will also be doomed. I just saved them. I must never let them die again. I am no longer a disaster. Since cause and effect and destiny have been broken, I will prove true kindness. This time, I'm no longer the me that no one can save. He gathers all his will, frantically absorbing the raging dark magic. Soon blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. The purple light in his eyes gradually dimmed. Oh no, the effect is wearing off. His consciousness begins to blur. Hold on a little longer, just a little longer. Just as he was about to collapse, a dazzling holy light tore through the darkness. The Duke appeared in time with a long sword. Where the sword energy strikes, the aura of death is instantly purified. Daphne stared intently at the figure. The pressure of enrollment suddenly disappeared. His legs gave way, but fell into a solid embrace. Daphne, you did a great job. You can stop now. The Duke, who was always stern. There was a hint of warmth in his voice. Daphne struggled to raise her little hand. Her eyes were full of stars. The Duke's heart softened. But little did he know that Daphne was actually staring at her magic value, which had soared to 50, and finally fainted with relief. On the other side, Briza successfully escaped from the ruins and rushed into the arms of the Marchioness. The mother and daughter were very excited and embraced each other. My daughter, thank God you're okay. Do you know how worried I was when I couldn't find you? I'm sorry, Mom. I was trapped under a rock and couldn't get out. Miss Daphne saved me. The Marchioness looked incredulous. Count Milan also stood up to prove that it was true. I wanted to take Miss Daphne away, but she suddenly ran back. It must have been to save Miss Briza. She even used her own body to block the dark magic bomb and insisted on sending me out. I heard there was a dark magic bomb. Everyone was shocked. Count Leland nodded solemnly. I've been exposed to this power before. This is definitely the aura of death that can devour life. Everyone's face changed when they heard this. Is this what Miss Daphne was facing? By the time Suguanbo Ling arrived, the Duke was already carrying Daphne out. Seeing Daphne, who was scarred and motionless, Bo Ling's face turned pale. Miss, is she dead again? She's not dead. That's great. He thought he was going to prepare for a funeral again. Suddenly, a crowd of people who had escaped from the disaster squeezed over, asking about Daphne's condition. Is Miss Daphne in danger? Should we call a doctor? If it's caused by dark magic, it must be treated with holy power. Miss Daphne was injured like this to save us. That's why she was injured like this. Faced with everyone's concern and greetings, Bo Ling wanted to say something, but the Duke had already turned to leave. Bo Ling frantically signaled him to stay. Lord Duke, even if we are leaving, we should at least explain the situation just now. This is, after all, about the young lady. The Duke said coldly. Anyone with eyes should be able to see what Daphne did. I don't need to explain. Indeed, as the Duke said, people have already begun to spontaneously tell and confirm the miracle that just happened. It was Miss Daphne. She selflessly absorbed the terrifying death, and saved us all. She is a true hero. But there was no trace of joy on the Duke's face. What hero? It's just an empty name. If she really died, this kind of praise is useless. He stopped and told Bo Ling to reply quickly. And behind them, the rescued people, still reluctantly looking at that small figure. The moon in the deep night sky was dim. In the dark forest, a figure in a black cloak appeared silently. Several subordinates immediately knelt down tremblingly and reported something. The figure suddenly turned around, revealing a face covered in bandages. A pair of eyes exposed outside, glared at everyone. Are you saying our plan failed? A 5-year-old girl alone endured the impact of a powerful dark magic bomb. not only successfully crushed the Dark Magician's conspiracy, but also saved hundreds of innocent lives. Since ancient times, Dark Magicians have been regarded as the embodiment of evil. In order to block the flow of life energy, they did not hesitate to slaughter the white dragon, the symbol of white magic itself. And all of this also attracted Duke Agent's large-scale suppression. A few survivors managed to escape and created a secret organization, Ghost. They lurked in the dark for 5 years, honing the blade of revenge, just to announce the return of Ghost on this day and launch a revenge against the Empire. But the plan failed. The leader looked down at the subordinates kneeling in front of him. The anger in his eyes almost burst into flames. I said that if the team fails, you should kill yourselves. But you still have the face to come back alive. Are you not taking me seriously? A Dark Magician hurriedly prostrated himself and explained, Leader, please calm down. Your subordinate is not afraid of death, but has important information to report. Daphne Agen, the Duke's daughter who was cursed by the former leader. She absorbed the energy of the bomb. The leader's pupils shrank instantly. Isn't she already dead? Daphne's body, in addition to the curse of the former leader, it also contains a huge power of death. As long as you kill her before the curse manifests, you can recover this power. And the leader, ordered to eliminate Daphne a few months ago, faced with the leader's question, the Dark Mage repeatedly assured, they did kill Daphne back then, but she's still alive now. The leader clenched his fist, burning with anger. The Duke's family insists on opposing me. No matter what, those who hinder the wraith cannot be forgiven. That damn Duke killed our god and our people. They and their women must disappear together. Before he finished speaking, he raised his hand and snapped his fingers. The kneeling Dark Mages immediately let out a shrill scream as their bodies quickly turned into wisps of white smoke. The wraith will take your meager power of death. The wraith will take it. Now is the time to find the corpse of Calamity. After the attack, the news of the reappearance of the Dark Mages caused a great uproar. The people were panicking. Public opinion was in an uproar. And as a duke, the pressure on his shoulders is far more than that. 3 days have passed since the incident. Huangxing has been criticized for his poor response, but he has not summoned him yet. Is it because Daphne, who stopped the explosion, has not yet awake? He hasn't opened his eyes for 3 days. Duke Wangxiang, the elf Dr. Teddy, is preparing a potion. It's only been 3 days. Lord Duke, he will wake up soon. Please don't worry. Teddy cleared Daphne. It was because she absorbed too much dark magic that she fainted. She will be fine soon after drinking some recovery potion. If he's dying, please tell me in advance. The Duke's words made Teddy incredulous. What did you say? If he's going to die, we need to prepare for the funeral in advance. Looking at the Duke's calm appearance, Teddy only felt that he was outrageous. What's wrong with this guy? Even the most cold-blooded elves wouldn't say such a thing. What a trash human. The Duke quietly watched Daphne's pale sleeping eyes. He remembered the other article published in today's newspaper, praising Daphne's heroic behavior article. Count Milan constantly publishes praise reports. Marquis Fincy sends condolence gifts every day. Everyone is sincerely worried about his comfort. If it weren't for that black magic 5 years ago, the mage cast a curse to eliminate emotions on him. At this moment, he should also be like them, worrying about his daughter. After all, Daphne is his beloved, the only blood left in this world. But when Daphne stopped breathing for the first time, his heart was dead silent, without any waves. Thinking of this, even he himself felt cruel. Thinking back to that day, Daphne cried hysterically at him. Why did you give birth to me? You should have saved my mother and killed me. I'm going to die anyway. Why didn't you just let me die like that? You don't care about my death at all. That day, facing Daphne's questioning, the Duke couldn't say a word. He couldn't feel any emotion at all. No sadness, no anger, no guilt. Couldn't feel anything. Even at the moment when Daphne's sword rushed towards him, he actually felt that if he really died by his sword, perhaps it is also a relief. But he never ushered in such an ending. What a damn dream. Daphne's complaint interrupted his thoughts. Daphne suddenly sat up from the bed. When she saw the Duke by the bed, she immediately frowned, with a face full of disgust. Reality is more damn than dreams. The Duke's face darkened. Before he could speak, he saw her lying back down. I want to rest. You get out of here. Being driven away so bluntly by his daughter made the Duke look question mark. Daphne turned her head impatiently and glared at him. What are you looking at? Think about how I feel when I open my eyes and see your face. What is the mood? So disappointing. Looking at her sulky profile, the Duke couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. When he reacted, he quickly covered his mouth in surprise. Was he just smiling? The girl was knocked unconscious by a bomb and slept for 3 days before finally waking up. But the body, so weak that even picking up something is very difficult. But after absorbing the dark magic bomb, The magic power directly soared to 51. An idea flashed through Daphne's mind. If you go directly to those dark mages, absorb their power, wouldn't the recovery speed be faster? But right now, he can't even move. I can only eat some magic spar to restore magic power. At this time, the maids Anna and Annie came in and brought delicious sandwiches. Annie gently wiped Daphne's hands. Her eyes were full of heartache. You look weaker than before. The meat that had finally grown before seems to be gone again. Daphne's serious injury this time really scared him. In his heart, Mrs. Selfless' act of saving people is certainly great, but he hopes that Daphne can think more about herself. But Anna has a different opinion. What Miss did is so amazing. She burst out a stack of thick letters. These are all thank you letters from the people you saved. The letter and the past, everyone avoided you. The situation is completely different. Now everyone is looking forward to thanking you in person. They finally began to understand your sincerity. You really did a good job, Miss Daphne. It was the first time Daphne saw Anna show such heartfelt affect, sincere praise and affirmation from humans. So that's how it feels. He subconsciously covered his heart. A strange warmth made him a little at a loss. He unfolded those letters. The words were full of gratitude. It was Lord Daphne who saved my child. Please be sure to honor us with your presence at our humble home. We will never forget this kindness, this feeling. It is much heavier than a simple thank you. So this is what it feels like to have kindness reciprocated. The joy of genuine acceptance, just because she's Daphne, and not the dreaded evil dragon everyone feared. Finally free from the karma that tormented him for centuries. For the first time in the cycle, he's treated as an equal. The absurdity of this realization almost makes him laugh. But the joy surging through him now is enough to overshadow the painful memories of being blamed for saving others. Miss, the doctor says you can. Do some light activity. Shall we return to the villa to rest? Daphne shook her head, a subtle, enigmatic smile playing on her lips. I'll stay here for a few more days, because a guest is coming. The night is still. A dark figure, under the cover of night, silently sneaks into the room. By the bed, it solidifies into the figure of a man. He quietly watches the sleeping Daphne. She's actually still alive. I clearly confirmed she was dead last time. How can this be? Regardless, this time I must kill her completely. He specifically chose tonight to act, because the Empire's strongest swordsman, Duke Aegon, was summoned to the palace. The Duke's perception is extremely sharp. He can even detect the sound of a falling leaf from 100 meters away, where he resides. His mere presence is enough to make it the highest level of defense. Even the adjacent buildings are covered with powerful magical barriers, making them difficult to approach. Last time, they had to wait for Daphne to come too, the supervisor, before they found an opportunity to strike. Tonight, he must not miss this God-given opportunity. The man gathers a chilling, black magic energy membrane in his hand and stabs it towards the girl in bed. Die! Who knew the sleeping girl would suddenly speak, bind? In an instant, a dark purple magic tightly wraps around the man, rendering him unable to move. The man is shocked. What's going on? What is this? Daphne leisurely sets up and smiles at him. Foolish human. This is the correct way to use black magic. The man's face is filled with disbelief. This is impossible. You were clearly just an ordinary child before. Did you hide your strength? Or is this a trap set by the Duke? Still trying to figure it out? Even in dire straits, you don't forget to gather information. That's commendable. Before she finished speaking, the man is heavily slammed to the ground. He struggles to lift his head and glares at Daphne. Who exactly are you? Why should a dying man know so much? The man suddenly tears off his mask, spewing out a large amount of black magic that surges towards Daphne like a raging tide. Apart from the leader, no one has ever been able to withstand this move. But Daphne easily diffuses such a powerful attack. How dare you use such inferior magic against me? You're 100 years too early to hurt me. Witnessing his ultimate move being easily dismantled, the man is instantly dumbfounded. Although black magic is similar to the power of death contained in the calamity, Daphne's power is clearly on a different level. Breaking this level of black magic is as easy as pie for her. The man lying on the ground finally recognizes reality. This girl is not someone he can deal with. He must convey this information to the leader. He injects black magic into his heart. As soon as he dies, his companions will be able to sense the anomaly through the disappearance of his aura and report everything to the leader for the ghosts. But how could Daphne let him have his way? With a wave of her small hand, the black magic at the man's heart is forcibly extracted. He completely breaks down. How is this possible? For me, death is a matter of course. I am the calamity. I am the great black dragon and the evil calamity. Daphne grabs the man's collar. Her pupils turn purple, shining with an undeniable majesty. Your life belongs to me. All death can only be achieved through the calamity. So tell me everything you know. A black magician sneaks into the Duke's mansion late at night, attempting to assassinate the Duke's 5-year-old daughter, Daphne. Unexpectedly, Daphne, who is not what she used to be, instantly subdues him and extracts a shocking secret from him. A black magician organization called Ghosts. They not only want to eliminate their nemesis, Duke Agent, but also hunt dragons to seize the god-made fragments, and then use the power of death to rule the world. A hint of fatuousness flashes in Daphne's eyes, something even the gods can't do, mere humans dare to dream of. Perhaps it is this crazy belief that they can do it that makes these people so dangerous. After all, they did successfully slaughter the white dragon, and the reason why the ghosts are targeting Daphne is to kill him before his curse is activated, thereby seizing the vast amount of death within him. At present, the ghost organization has not yet obtained its full power. This means he still has time. As long as he lives in this body, it will be difficult to escape their pursuit. If the other party launches a large-scale surprise attack without warning, Daphne's current state may be difficult to cope with. The only way out is to become stronger. As long as she becomes an existence beyond everything, then she can not only defeat the Duke, the Emperor, and the ghosts, but even lift the curse and reverse fate. Just then, Jin Lintai pushes the door open and is immediately frightened by the strange black object on the ground. Her face pales in fright. Lord Daphne, what is this monster? How can there be a corpse in your room? He's not dead yet. He can't die here. Teddy, you're disgusting. Check that black magician who's as thin as paper. Oh my, he doesn't have any strength left. You've sucked him dry. Anyone who didn't know better would think you were a vampire. Daphne told Teddy the information she obtained. Teddy curled his lip in disdain. How dare mere humans dream of ruling the world? Would those humans actually kill the white dragon? No one can say what the future holds. He told Teddy to be careful, but he was fired up with fighting spirit. Since they dare to provoke me, I will never let them get their way. Take that guy away and get rid of him. Don't leave a trace. He noticed the way the other party tried to commit suicide. Speculate that the ghost members may have special means of communication. Teddy thought Daphne wanted him to silence and bury the body. His face turned pale, but Daphne said calmly, no need to be so troublesome. Just throw him far away. I've erased his memory. Not killing is my principle. Teddy processed the paper man while silently praying. I hope you can stick to this principle for the rest of your life. At this moment, he suddenly thought of something. It is said that a great sage has appeared in the western desert. Witness reports. I want to investigate. Daphne shrank back into the quilt. Got it. Go ahead. Teddy felt a little aggrieved. My lord, do you know how far the western desert is from here? I'm not going there to play. A slave who is loyal to you doesn't deserve a word of praise. Are you going or not? I'm leaving. Goodbye. The sky was just dawning. Knight Commander Lloyd was already standing on the training ground. Recalling when he first joined the Knights, he often came out to train in the middle of the night. In fact, the Agent Knights have always had a bad reputation. Unlike other noble knights, they don't even have formal titles. This is because Duke Agent himself is known as the strongest insight in the Empire. All the halos and responsibilities are almost all borne by him alone. Outsiders always laugh. What can the Duke's Knights do? Anyway, the Duke will solve it, right? They are just a group of lazy people who rely on the Duke's protection. Many layers of knights who swore to fight alongside the strongest insight couldn't stand the ridicule and quit within a year. Those who remained gradually lost their fighting spirit. Training was perfunctory until the weak and sickly Miss Daphne appeared. She ran on the training ground day after day. Even if she ran until she vomited blood, she still appeared the next day. This gave the knights an unprecedented boost. Encouragement. I heard that the young lady also stopped a black magic attack not long ago. She saved everyone twice with such a weak body. It's really amazing. Lloyd is determined to work harder and wait for the young lady to come back and let her see a different Knights. At this time, Iris also came to the training ground. The two looked at each other and were a little surprised that the other got up so early. Iris said he couldn't sleep. Since he was awake, he came to the training ground to wander around. Lloyd saw something in his evasive eyes. Young master, are you frustrated? Iris turned his head unnaturally. What are you talking about? Seeing Miss Daphne successfully repel that attack. Do you feel unwilling or even jealous, being told what was on his mind? Iris quickly denied, no. I just think Daphne is so amazing. I still want to praise her. How could I be jealous? She definitely didn't. You should be jealous. Lloyd's words stunned Iris. It is because of unwillingness that people become stronger. Talent is dazzling, but it can't beat accumulated hard work. Do you really think that your years of hard work have been in vain? Iris clenched his fists silently. Yes, maybe Daphne is leading now. But one day he will stand by his father's side. In the name of a knight. Daphne had just stepped into the training ground when she saw the knights lying all over the place. Lloyd trotted over excitedly. Miss, I have increased their training intensity. You have fought so hard. How can we be idle? This is all for the future. Young Master Iris also volunteered to join. Daphne looked inward. Iris, who could barely stand up straight. Are you referring to that skeleton with only half a life left? Over there, Lloyd said with a gratified expression, with a hint of pride in his tone. Although I also advised him at the beginning that the intensity was too high. The young master insisted on participating in the whole process without missing a single time. At this rate, in a few years, he will definitely become an excellent swordsman. Daphne nodded. That's good, but what's the use of telling me? You should report it to the Duke. That's right. At this time, Daphne finally remembered the business. She asked Lloyd with a serious face, do you know where to find black mages? Lloyd's face changed drastically, and his voice suddenly became tense. Miss, you wouldn't want to take the initiative to attack, would you? Absolutely not. Being able to escape this time may have been due to luck, but next time you may not be so lucky. As soon as these words came out, Daphne's face changed instantly. It was as if she had heard a big joke. Luck, you actually said it was luck. The raging anger in her eyes made her grab Lloyd's collar. Then I'll let you experience it firsthand to see if it's your good luck or my strength that's stronger. Lloyd was so frightened that he apologized repeatedly. Just then, a green figure suddenly jumped out to stop her. Daphne, you're still sick. Why did you run out? The person who came was Bipera. Daphne paused. Iris was even more surprised to see Bipera. Why are you here? We haven't seen each other in 2 years. But Bipera ignored him directly and walked straight to Daphne. You need to worry about your own body. You just woke up not long ago. He took out a bottle of potion from his bag and handed it to Daphne. I made this myself. I hope it can help you recover. Daphne took the bottle and examined it carefully. The liquid is clear and pure. The purity is quite high. Daphne was secretly delighted that this child has a good talent. If he is well trained, he will definitely be of great use in a few years. Waipila saw that Daphne did not refuse and even smiled. His heart was jumping with joy. It seems he likes this gift. I was worried that he would be like before. Throw it away like trash. It seems that Daphne has really changed a lot. He couldn't help but think of that arrogant elf, Teddy, who exceptionally accepted him as a disciple and enthusiastically announced, you are Bipila, right? From today on, I am your teacher. Although I hate humans, you are different. As long as I train you, I can be free. So let's work hard together. Although this elf is weird, but to send him to teach me. Maybe Daphne is secretly showing goodwill. Lipila also remembered her mother's last words. My dear daughter, please take good care of your sister. Lipila made up her mind. She must not let her mother down. She stuffed a large bag of potions into Daphne's arms. Take these too. She rattled off all the ingredients and effects of the potions. Seeing that Daphne had no reaction, she thought she had annoyed her by talking too much. If you don't like it, I'll take it back. It's good. I will use it well. Thank you. This warm scene between the two sisters completely stunned Iris. Wait a minute. Can someone tell me what's going on now? You two, don't ignore me. Bipila. Why didn't you pay attention to me when I asked you to go out before? But now you are so close to Daphne. Lipila explained with a red face. Daphne helped him before, so now he has to take on the responsibility of being a sister. Take care of her sister. Iris stared blankly at this person who had been depressed for 2 years because of being bullied by Daphne, and now approached her innocently. Maybe Bipila also felt Daphne's change. This harmonious atmosphere vaguely felt like home. Speaking of which, what is this potion? When did you learn this alchemy? Will there really be no problem? Don't worry, the effect will definitely be good, because I have tested it on myself. Daphne and Iris exclaimed at the same time. What did you say? For example, scratch yourself first and then apply the medicine. Or drink it when you are physically exhausted to test the effect. And take it after exhausting all the magic power. The effect seems to be good. Daphne and Iris were speechless. It's too outrageous. Don't you know that the side effects of potions are terrible? At this moment, Daphne suddenly thought of something. Since the knights will have high-intensity training in the future, it is inevitable that their physical strength and magic power will be exhausted. Bipila, let them do all the potion experiments in the future. Don't hurt yourself again. Iris immediately agreed. That's right, their bodies are very strong, so don't worry. The knights who were reduced to experimental mice collapsed on the ground. Tears welled up in their eyes. Oh well, we're going to die anyway. The storm subsided. Iris's mood brightened up. Anyway, Bipila, I'm glad you came out of it. It's been a long time since the three of us have been together like this. It would be even more perfect if our big brother was here. Bipila nodded lightly. It's already very good as it is now. Iris raised her hand and hooked her arms around the shoulders of the two girls. Her smile was extremely bright. That's right. It's very good now. Such a warm and easy moment made Daphne a little overwhelmed. A strange sense of security actually made him gradually relax. To children with no blood relationship, Daphne experienced the warmth between siblings. The three of them can finally get along harmoniously. The Duke tried his best to watch the scene from afar by the window, thoughtfully. At this time, Adjutant Bolin pushed the door in with a plate of documents. Sir, regarding whether to participate in the crusade against the black magic, the palace is waiting for our reply. Not long ago, the black magic terrorist attack in the center of the capital revealed the fact that the remaining forces were artificially purged. The people fell into panic. In order to quell the riots, the emperor ordered the complete eradication of black magicians and promised to reward those who contributed. This order quickly spread to various noble families, but the emperor privately summoned Duke Cross. If you don't want to, you don't have to participate. You have lost too much. I can't bear to let you bear more. I hope you can make a choice that suits you. The Duke looked out the window with deep eyes. If it is for Alice, revenge on them is the right choice. But black magicians are like weeds. Even if they are trampled and burned, the roots buried in the ground will still spread. Do I have to throw myself into that endless battle again? Bolin looked at the Duke's lonely back. He understood in his heart. If it were him, I'm afraid he would have been unable to bear all this. But, sir, if you retreat now, it may be more difficult to move forward in the future. Please consider it again. Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. Daphne swaggered in. Duke, I have a question to ask you. How did you know I was here? That annoying aura on you can be smelled from a long distance. Don't think I can't detect it. The Duke was a little surprised. He had clearly deliberately restrained his aura in the residence, yet Daphne could still sense it. He slightly curved the corners of his mouth. Bolin and Daphne both looked at him questioningly. Ask, what do you want to know? Tell me where those dark mages are. Dark mages? What do you want them for? To defeat them, of course. I'm asking why you want to do that. Daphne hesitated for a moment. She couldn't possibly reveal her true purpose, which was to absorb their power of death. It must be for revenge. Bolin's sudden statement made Daphne freeze. Because the dark mages have hurt so many people, the young lady must be seeking revenge against them. I didn't expect you to plan revenge as soon as you recovered. So reckless. Such a noble character, wholeheartedly helping others. Truly worthy of being the Duke's daughter. Daphne wanted to deny it, but almost cursed it out loud when she heard the last sentence. Who wants to be the daughter of such a bastard? Are you really doing this for revenge? Seeing the Duke's reaction, Daphne was conflicted. Should she scold the Duke and get kicked out, or pretend to agree and seize the opportunity? To find out the whereabouts of the dark mages, after thinking it over, she decided to endure the humiliation. Yes, I want revenge. With your current strength, it's impossible. Besides, you don't even have a chance to kill me. Daphne instantly regretted it. I shouldn't have given in just now. I heard you're learning swordsmanship. They say you have a lot of talent. The Duke suddenly changed his tone. I'll teach you. As long as you learn from me, your strength will improve quickly. Then you'll have the ability to fight the dark mages. He originally thought Daphne would eventually die, so he had always let her be free. But now, the light in her eyes is no longer the dim glow of someone about to die. But Daphne scoffed at it. Why should I learn from you? I have no interest in someone like you. After saying that, she turned and left. Bolin didn't expect her to refuse so decisively. Even the Duke himself was awkwardly standing there. Daphne angrily took a spoonful of dessert and stuffed it into her mouth. That guy actually dared to offer to teach me. So arrogant, it's ridiculous. But she refused the Duke for another reason. Ever since dealing with the assassin last time, she has insisted on moving back to where others live. There are too many people in charge, and it's not suitable for magic training. Moreover, the Duke's aura covers the entire area in charge. If he notices her during training, it would be terrible. Although he won't discover her true identity. That guy's perception is frighteningly strong. She has to be careful in everything. Of course, the main reason is that she hates him. But seeing his deflated look, it's really quite satisfying. But speaking of which, this villa is suffocating no matter when. But Daphne can sense at least 5 layers of shortcuts. Maintaining it to this extent must have consumed the magic power of dozens of 6th level mages. Could there be some gold and silver treasures hidden here? Daphne couldn't help but ask the maid Anna why the villa's guards are so strict. It's to protect you, miss. Daphne widened her eyes in surprise. How is that possible? Because it's well known that you are physically weak. The master is worried that someone will harm you. So he ordered the court mages to set up these barriers. Daphne couldn't believe her ears. That man would protect me. He clearly doesn't like me at all. The only time he shows any interest in me is when he's waiting to see when I'll die. He even finds this answer absurdly laughable. Could it be that that guy actually likes me? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Miss, the master may just not be good at expressing himself. I don't know exactly what happened when you were born, but the master specifically brought you a bouquet of blooming laurel flowers at the time, although he's clumsy. There's no doubt that he loves you deeply. Daphne was stunned, but she didn't feel joy or excitement in her heart. Instead, she felt a faint sense of guilt. She doesn't need that kind of thing, because the current her is no longer the real Daphne. The Duke, who had always been cold as ice, actually offered to teach his daughter swordsmanship, but was decisively rejected by Daphne. Why should I learn from you? I have no interest in someone like you. Daphne's reaction was somewhat unexpected to the Duke. He went to the training ground to find the Knight Commander, Lloyd, wanting to ask indirectly, if I said I wanted to teach you swordsmanship, what would your reaction be? Unexpectedly, this sentence was directly understood by Lloyd as, I want to personally teach you swordsmanship. He immediately bent 90 degrees to express his gratitude, begging the Duke to give him guidance. The Duke was about to explain that he didn't mean that. But before he could finish, Lloyd had excitedly gathered all the knights and announced this great news, hearing that the Empire's #1 swordsmanship master was going to personally guide them. The knights instantly erupted. Many were so excited that they burst into tears. Mom, I made it. Is this not a dream? Is it real? I can die without regrets now. Looking at this scene, the Duke, who wasn't good at socializing, was in a dilemma. He had no choice but to bite the bullet and agree. Indeed, this is the normal reaction, right? The knights are all so happy. Why is Daphne so resistant to the Duke? He suddenly felt a sense of frustration. Duke, so you're here. A familiar voice sounded from behind. He saw Daphne radiating, an aura of mischief pointing at him. The great me is here to give you a chance. I'll reluctantly let you teach me once. This change of heart left the Duke a little dazed. In the carriage, Daphne looked at the scenery outside the window, her thoughts swirling. There was a reason for this change of heart. She recalled Anna's words and the Duke's maternal love, gradually realizing that the Duke doesn't seem to hate him for being a dragon. That silence is more like a clumsy protection. But this realization makes him even more awkward. He always remembers that he is Ceros, the dragon of calamity feared by all, rather than the real Daphne Achaean. This unpleasant feeling is like he stole what should have been the kindness that belongs to the real Daphne. But instead of being led by these emotions, better take this opportunity from this guy. Extract everything you can get. That's right, but why is this road becoming more and more familiar? Didn't you say you were going to practice swordsmanship? Where are you taking me? My swordsmanship is very powerful. In order to avoid hurting the innocent, I have always practiced swordsmanship alone in other places. When the carriage stopped, when Daphne saw the old hut in front of her, her heart skipped a beat. A strong sense of familiarity came over her. How is it possible? This is clearly. Sealed fragments of memory began to hit his mind. Humans seeing this kind of. Isn't it enough to just wave things around a few times? Even if you are a dragon, you are not qualified to despise my sword. Daphne thought she had forgotten. For him, human life is like a flash in the pan. It should have been fleeting. Fleeting clouds that don't need to be remembered. However, regarding this hut, about the old man who taught him swordsmanship here, the only one who accepted him as the memory of the human being who was the dragon of calamity. But it always occupies the softest corner of his heart. Sadly, because of his ridiculous self-esteem, until the old man passed away, he didn't even know his name. Why did you bring me here? The Duke looked at the hut. This is my master's home. Daphne recalled the old man's teachings. Truly great beings are those who tolerate lives weaker than themselves, protect the weak, defeat the strong. That's what's really amazing. He finally asked the late question in a low voice. What's your master's name? Bertio Agen. He is also my grandfather. At the same time, in the distant western desert, Jinling, Teddy was panting under the scorching sun, facing the figure running nimbly in front, shouted hard. Stop right there. Great sage, do you think I'll stop if you tell me to? Then why am I still running? Teddy was about to go crazy. This damn great sage. If he really lets him run away, he will definitely be killed by that Feng Meng. If I die of exhaustion, you are the sinner who killed the elves. You will be hunted down by all the elves for the rest of your life. The great sage laughed heartlessly. I'll stop as long as you promise not to touch me. Teddy had no choice but to agree. He slowly moved to the great sage's side, panting. Are you really human? How can you have so much stamina? Unexpectedly, the great sage took out a notebook. The elf is actually praising me. I have to write it in my diary. I am recording the monthly events of the past 100 years. Maybe I can organize and publish it in the future. It may help future generations. Teddy was a little surprised. Has this guy lived for more than 100 years? I said, great sage. My name is Theosin. Okay, Theosin. Do you know Lord Ceros? Of course I know him. Then you should know why I'm here, right? Then you should understand why I'm running, right? If I get too close, seeing Lord Ceros suffering, maybe I will be implicated too. Only by watching from afar can I laugh at him to my heart's content. This sentence instantly aroused Teddy's strong resonance. I also hope that the Finglong will eat all the empty promises. Never appear in front of me again. After venting, he sighed helplessly, but there's no way. I will die if I don't take you back. Do you want to watch me die? Theosin's eyes showed desire. I haven't seen an elf die yet. Can you let me see it? And then write it in my diary. Teddy was so angry at his unyielding attitude that he exploded. Come back with me quickly. He will never let you go. No matter where you hide, he can find you. Theosin finally restrained his joking expression. Gently floating away, Teddy grabbed his hand in excitement. I will go. But now is not the time. Karma has not been settled. Please tell Lord Ceros to be patient. He will naturally understand. Daphne never thought that the only human friend who accepted him decades ago turned out to be the grandfather of his enemy. How ironic is fate. He not only took away the only friend's great granddaughter's body, now he is even trying to kill his grandson. Daphne stared at her hands. How could I do such a thing? The Duke finished tidying up the training ground. Noticed Daphne was alone and absent-minded. I thought he was not feeling well, just about to step forward and ask, but he heard him suddenly laugh. The Duke was a little confused by the laughter. Just then, Daphne suddenly turned her head and stared at him. Duke, listen carefully. I'll only say this once. He took a deep breath. Please teach me swordsmanship. Please take care of me in the future. He never said to anyone in such a humble tone. Words without blushing. And the Duke was even more surprised by his sudden change of attitude. Stood frozen in place. Must have forgotten to respond. Just as Daphne was getting impatient, the Duke suddenly picked him up. Tell me if you feel uncomfortable. We'll start swinging right away. Saying that he completely misunderstood. Daphne felt a surge of anger, but she held back. I'm fine. I'm good. If you're fine, why are you so quiet? Why else? It's because you're my only friend's grandson. He struggled a bit. He urged, stop talking and put me down. Hurry up and swing your sword. I'll imitate your movements. But the Duke's eyes suddenly turned serious. You want to imitate my movements? Daphne, do you think this is something to laugh about? Daphne couldn't help but widen her eyes. The Duke's tone and expression were exactly like his grandfather's. It was chilling. Basic training starts with push-ups until you can't breathe and your vision goes black. He pointed to a stone barbell nearby. His tone left no room for doubt. After that, endurance training. Carry this up and down the mountain repeatedly. I've already prepared stamina recovery potions. Just train. Unless you complete both of these within 3 hours. Don't even think about seeing her. Daphne secretly complained. Decades have passed, and the teaching methods haven't improved at all. But to be successively guided by the grandfather and grandson felt like a gift of fate to him. Doesn't feel bad. Daphne immediately started doing push-ups. I must get the sword fair and square within 10 days. I will never give up this time. Wait for me, Duke Shoba. I will definitely make you witness my strength. At the same time, in a luxuriously decorated room, a man was pacing back and forth anxiously. Damn it, that Daphne was almost dead. How did he come back to life? Could it be that the elf doctor really healed him? Looking at the newspaper in front of him, the man gritted his teeth in hatred. What nonsense about preventing terrorist attacks. Can people actually believe that? He suddenly paused. A thought flashed through his mind. Duke Cross is so publicizing Daphne's heroic deeds. Is he indirectly warning me not to interfere with the position of heir? Cross wants Daphne to be his heir. So he's creating momentum with public opinion first, to suppress other competitors. It must be like this. He says he won't designate an heir, but he's playing such dirty tricks behind the scenes. Currently, the only legitimate heir to the Duke's family is Daphne. When the Earl heard that he was dying, he thought his son had finally gotten his chance. Who would have thought the situation would turn out like this? Cross, you lowly bastard. You want to take everything from me. What should I do to get rid of those guys completely? A young man approached silently. Golden eyes flashed with cunning light. The visitor was the fox beastman Domet. His voice had a hint of seduction. Earl, please calm down. I've already thought of a countermeasure. The Earl turned around excitedly and asked him for a solution. Delmit smiled slightly. His smile was full of calculation. You should know that a little over a month ago, the supply of magic crystals suddenly decreased. The investigation showed that the mastermind was a black magic organization. They attacked several chambers of commerce and mines, forcibly plundering magic crystals. The Earl was shocked. What? Did they start acting so early? Delmit's mouth curved into a sinister arc. Yes, so a subjugation team will be formed soon. When that time comes, we just need to put Miss Daphne into that team. That's all. The Earl's expression changed. What do you mean? I want Daphne to suffer, but I don't want to kill him myself. Don't look at me like that. I'm only saying this after careful consideration. Letting this hero who prevented the terrorist attack join will surely greatly boost the morale of the soldiers. But he is, after all, just a 5-year-old child. Perhaps he is temporarily obsessed with playing the hero. But how long can that facade last? Delmit's words were meaningful. The soldiers who go to the battlefield with him will witness his true appearance with their own eyes. We just need to patiently wait for him to show his true colors. The Earl's expression softened slightly. But as you said, he's just a child. What if the Duke strongly opposes it? Delmit smiled even more deeply. That would be even better. At that time, there will be rumors saying that he is a deserter who fled the battlefield. His previous heroic deeds were just a fluke. What kind of hero doesn't even dare to go to the front lines? Hearing this, the Earl finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then let's do as you say. Delmit, you never disappoint me. I will never let that half-baked Duke's conspiracy succeed. Delmit bowed elegantly, his tone determined. Don't worry, Earl. I will definitely ruin Miss Daphne's reputation. A 5-year-old girl lifted a 500-gin barbell for weight training. Gritting her teeth, she finally persevered for half an hour. As soon as she put down the barbell, Daphne collapsed to the ground. This was only the 4th day of formal training. He had deeply experienced the Duke's strictness. The grandson is even more ruthless than the grandfather. With this kind of training intensity, even a bug could learn swordsmanship. Thinking that he had once been defeated by the Duke, the proud Daphne felt a twinge of pain in his self-esteem. Since the Duke is the grandson of that old man, he decided not to marry her for the time being. Perhaps he could help at once if the Duke's family encountered danger in the future. But that's all. He would never forgive that bastard Duke. Daphne took out the stamina recovery potion and drank it all in one gulp. At this moment, Iris walked over with a worried look. Daphne, you've been training since morning without a break. Is your father really not forcing you? Daphne looked disdainful. Am I the kind of person who can be easily forced? Thank you for your concern, but it's not necessary to become stronger. I can do anything. Seeing Daphne's persistence in becoming stronger, Iris was very curious about the reason. Daphne's eyes lit up, looking excited. Of course, it's so that one day I can punch that Duke's face into a flower. Iris was stunned. Your goal is to learn skills from your father and then use them to hit your father. Yes, that's exactly it. Can I train with you? Whatever, in the carriage. The Duke is listening to the report from Vice Boleyn through the magic ball. His Majesty's summons this time are not nominal. Many family leaders are in the ranks, including the Marquis of Divergence. The Duke instantly understood. It seems that a crusade is to be formed against the Black Magician. It is His Majesty Zhao Jianing, who is probably trying to attract various families to send elites to take risks. It doesn't matter, since I decided to execute the order. Just follow it. Boleyn's style suddenly reversed, rainy and worried. Young Master Iris is with Daw. Miss Funi is training together. Extremely intense. It has been going on since morning. Even Iris, young Master, can hardly bear the intensity of training. Can Miss Lee's body really bear it? He may fall again. The Duke didn't care, although he is physically weak, but his willpower is very firm. Boleyn whispered to remind him that he was not weak, but that his days were numbered. So should he be locked in the other courtyard as before? Break his wings that want to fly? Is that the right thing to do? Faced with the Duke's question, Boleyn insisted. I'm worried that even if his hope is shattered, he will still try at all costs. The Duke's voice was still calm. It is his freedom to have hope or fall into despair. No one can stop him. You are only so harsh on the young lady. Do you really think he can achieve something by training him? The Duke was silent for a moment, thinking of Daphne. The declaration to eliminate the Black Magician shook his head. I don't know, but it's worth a try because I don't know. Giving up just because the result is uncertain is a pity. Perhaps daring to try is remarkable enough. No matter how well the bird is protected, his desire to fly will eventually be unstoppable. In a blink of an eye, it was the 10th day of training. Iris, who had just finished lifting the barbell, was exhausted. I can't do it anymore. My heart is about to jump out. Daphne despised him for a second. Easily stuffed a bottle of stamina recovery potion into his mouth. Iris, who finally recovered, looked at Daphne, admiring sincerely. Really amazing. 3 years younger than me, but can withstand the same intensity. Her body was so weak before. Daphne was very proud. Do you only know how amazing I am now? This is when the Duke and Bolin walked over. Seeing Daphne still alive and kicking after training, Bolin was very shocked. Miss actually persevered. So amazing. Daphne ran excitedly to the Duke. As you can see, I succeeded. Teach me swordsmanship quickly. Got it. I will leave the mansion for a while tomorrow. I will teach you some skills first. You have to practice hard before I come back. Daphne was eager to try. Great. I will definitely practice beyond your imagination. Looking at the backs of the father and daughter gradually leaving, Iris's eyes flashed, a trace of loneliness, which then turned into a bitter smile. What am I expecting? After all, I'm not his biological son. I should go back to the knights. At least the swordsmanship there was also taught by my father. Suddenly, someone grabbed Iris's sleeve. I saw Daphne looking up at him. What are you standing there for? Come together. Iris was flattered. Can I come too? Daphne dragged him towards the Duke without explanation, loudly questioning why he couldn't come along. Duke, why don't you teach him? He trains with me. Bolin reminded carefully from the side. Miss, you and the young master are still a little different. So what? Aren't you both your children? Is it really okay to treat them differently like this? Is this what your master taught you? Iris didn't expect Daphne to be so direct. He nervously wanted to refuse. The Duke's calm voice sounded. I never said I wouldn't teach you. Nor did I say you couldn't come along. If you want, let's go together. These words made Iris's heart beat faster. So he can be like Daphne too. Great joy and courage surged into his heart. He responded loudly, yes, father. I also want to learn swordsmanship from you. The girl's initiative invitation actually allowed Iris, who was young Z, to also get the opportunity to learn swordsmanship from the Duke. The Duke explained the true meaning of seeing to the two children. The galaxy sword inherited by the Achaean family contains cosmic mysteries. The universe encompasses the birth and end of all things. And we must learn his growth and finally understand his smile. Do you understand? Faced with the theoretical knowledge explained by the Duke, Iris nodded excitedly, but Daphne rolled her eyes. What is all this nonsense? She couldn't help but poke Iris. Do you really understand? Of course, what's so difficult to understand? These basics don't need to be said. Looks like your father is teaching you carefully. I'm speechless to answer you. When Beldio taught him, he was only focused on memorizing the movements. He never thought about so many mysterious principles. You can't unleash the sword aura yet. Start with the basic moves. The Duke holds a wooden sword. Body interaction. In an instant, he unleashed several sword shadows with accumulated power. This move is Comet Wave Slash. It leaves a trail like a comet's tail, disrupting the opponent's judgment. Iris is amazed. It can actually leave after images. The enemy can't tell which one is real. The Duke nods. Then he looks at Daphne. Do you understand? But the girl looks blank. How? Did you fart with a critical hit? The Duke looks at the stark contrast between the two children. He sighs helplessly. They can't even listen to the theory. Is it too early after all? But Daphne is very clear. This is clearly what Beldio used. That's just the bastard swordplay in the after images. Even the name of the move is so exaggerated. I'm so impressed. Daphne rolls up her sleeves. It's not worth the money. Forget it. Let's just try it out. Iris thought she misheard. You already know it after seeing it once. Daphne instantly unleashed several sword languages. Iris was directly stunned. Iris, how is this possible? How did you do it? Just swing it out. Daphne casually brushed it off. But she clearly felt that this move puts a great burden on the body. Stamina is rapidly draining. Even magic power is faintly fluctuating. If a black magician could fall from the sky, it would be great to replenish some magic power. He knows he must adapt to this body as soon as possible. Find new ways to use swordsmanship. The Duke also finds it incredible. This move can't be imitated after seeing it once. Did you inherit my talent? Daphne protests. Why are you praising yourself in a roundabout way? Shouldn't you be praising me? Iris smooths things over. It's rare for Daphne's father to praise someone. This is already amazing. Although the Duke thinks this sounds a bit strange, he still wants to confirm it one more time. Because at the moment Daphne swung her sword, he seemed to notice something unusual. Since you want to see it so much, then I'll let you see enough. Daphne is about to show off again. But the adjutant Bolin rushes over. Duke! Imperial Palace report. The original team to crusade against the Black Magician consists of 10 guards. Wu Mingli is guarded. 10 members of the Fenke Marquis Knights, 8 members of the Imperial Earl Rose Knights, and 3 members of the Duke's Knights. But now there is a new member on the list. The Duke unfolds the letter. His pupils suddenly contract. The paper clearly reads Daphne Aquilon. Bolin frowns. They actually want the young lady to join the Crusade team. They call it boosting morale. It's ridiculous. The Duke's eyes are as cold as ice. Is this the Emperor's intention? Or is it a scheme set up by other families to move to the Duke's house? In any case, sending a 5-year-old child to the battlefield is simply a contempt for the Duke's family. No matter who is behind this, they must pay the price. Prepare a reply immediately. Daphne will never participate in the Crusade. Who knew Daphne would suddenly jump out with shining eyes? Black Magician Crusade team. I want to go. I must go. Bolin hurriedly dissuades her. Miss, this is not a joke. But Daphne is determined not to go. Duke, I must go. Don't worry. I'll suck all the Black Magicians dry. Or I'll defeat them all and come back. Looking at his daughter's excited appearance, the Duke suddenly feels a sense of powerlessness. At the same time, in the camp by the city wall of the capital, soldiers are preparing. A young man in a cloak is working hard in the tent. What suddenly? 2 boys walked in excitedly. Rachel, Big Di, we just heard the captain tell a very amazing story. The man's attitude is very kind. He picks up one of them and asks softly, what amazing story? Tell me, Daphne, is that hero? I heard she's your sister. Is it true? As the adopted eldest son of the Aquilon Duke's mansion, Rachel moves with dignity. Then he takes off his winter hat, revealing an impeccable gentle smile. Yes, that's right. She is my sister. The boys are even more excited now this hero is coming. It is said that she is even younger than us, but she stopped the bombing attack. She's so amazing. Can you tell us more about her stories? Suddenly, a figure strides into the tent. Who said Daphne Aquilon is a hero? Knights, don't believe the rumors. Seeing the person coming, the children instantly get excited. It's actually Kendrick Delayed, the Grey Wolf of the Northern Battlefield in Legends. Anyone who meets that blood-colored pupil will die. Kendrick touches the heads of the 2 children. A trace of something flashes in that lone eye. Don't you understand yet? Daphne Aquilon is not a hero at all. The heroic deeds of a 5-year-old girl sacrificing herself to save others are already well known. However, Kendrick is skeptical about this. Daphne is not a hero at all. The children are confused, but she did risk her life to save everyone. Purely coincidental. He never thinks about others. Now everyone worships him. But if you want to talk about the bad things he's done, I could talk for 2 days and 2 nights. Seeing the children still doubtful, Kendrick pointed to Rachel beside him. Don't you believe me? The victim is right here. He pretended to be sorry and added, sorry, Rachel. It must be difficult for you to say bad things about your sister. Rachel smiled gently. It's okay. The truth is more important. Heroic behavior must not be tolerated. Even Rachel says so. The children's worship of Daphne shattered instantly. They left disappointed. As soon as they left, the gentleness on Rachel's face instantly collapsed. Damn it, why is that bastard still alive? Didn't they say he had an incurable disease and would definitely die? Kendrick on the side seemed to be used to it. Calm down, don't get excited. Rachel glared at him. Calm down, you know why I left that house. I thought I would never see him again. But someone actually put him on the raiding party. Her voice was filled with intense hatred. That family and the royal family are all crazy. Kendrick immediately picked up the apple that had been thrown on the ground. I agree with that, but I think it's a good thing. Rachel's eyes widened. What did you say? Don't you think this is a good opportunity to expose those rumors? Kendrick's words made Rachel forget Daphne's temper. If she can hold back in the subjugation squad, once the knights return to their respective territories, his true colors will naturally be spread. The rumors will naturally disappear. Kendrick reassured her confidently, which gradually calmed Rachel down. Speaking of which, it seems like you haven't seen your family in a long time. Rachel looked annoyed. Family? Are you referring to the abandoned party? Or the party that abandoned others? He put on his cloak. His voice was cold. I don't need either. After saying that, he left the tent. 10 years ago on the battlefield, Rachel was entrusted by Duke Ebert on his deathbed to his friend Duke Akiwan. That's how Rachel was brought into the Duke's family. Kendrick looked at his back helplessly. He's really stuck in a rut. He wasn't like this before. At the same time, Teddy, the elf who failed to bring back the Great Manifester, was facing Daphne's anger with trepidation. He explained that he did catch the Great Manifester, but the other party kept begging, so he couldn't help it. So you let him go. Daphne stamped her feet in anger. Then at least he left some words, right? He said the karma is not yet settled. He will naturally come to us when the time comes. Daphne was shocked. Karma is a world law that only a very few beings know about. Even the elf in front of her doesn't know anything about it. How would that human know? He suddenly raised the corner of his mouth. Who exactly is this guy? I'm really curious. Then did you ask him when this karma will end? Teddy slapped his forehead. I forgot. Daphne rolled her eyes at him. Then she started talking about joining the subjugation squad. Teddy nodded repeatedly. I know. I've already started preparing your essentials. You're coming with me too. Hurry up and get ready. Teddy was dumbfounded. Seriously, I'm a doctor. I'm really troubled when you always ask me to do other things. Daphne's voice deepened. There's something you might not know. I've completely adapted to this body. I can use my power in my own way. Before she finished speaking, black and purple magic suddenly erupted from his body. Teddy retreated in fear. I'll go. I'll do anything. Please don't kill me. Who knew Daphne would laugh? If you really didn't want to, I was originally planning to let you go. But since you insist, I'll reluctantly take you, you stupid elf. Watching Daphne leave happily, Teddy was left alone in confusion. On the day of departure, Iris and Knight Commander Lloyd came to see them off. Iris couldn't understand. There are so many candidates. Why did they have to send Daphne, who is only 5 years old? The people who allowed this are all crazy. Lloyd sighed softly. This must be someone who is jealous of Miss Daphne secretly plotting. But if Miss Daphne refuses, her reputation might be damaged. Iris interrupted disdainfully. Daphne's reputation is already bad enough. Does she still care what others say? What if it gets even worse? Who are you talking about? Daphne suddenly appeared, scaring Iris. He flinched. He immediately covered his head and hit to the side. You're about to leave. Can you be a little gentler? Daphne sighed. I don't care what others say about me at all. I'm not joining the subjugation squad for fame, but to catch those black mages. Iris's eyes lit up. So it's for revenge. Because your parents were cursed, and you saw innocent people being harmed. So you're full of anger towards them. Daphne didn't understand. Why do these people always think about revenge? Iris clenched his fists. His voice was full of guilt. You're working so hard, but I can't help you at all. Before you come back, I will definitely master the comet draw to perfection. Iris smiled particularly brightly. I want to become a brother you're proud of, so you must come back safely. 5-year-old Daphne was sent to the front line to subjugate black mages to ensure his safety. The Duke specially placed him in, right in the center of the knightly ranks, and even had him ride the same horse as the elf emperor. Yet Daphne only felt uncomfortable all over. The gazes from all around never stopped. It was as if she was being treated like a touring exhibit. Haven't you guys stared enough? Is there something on my face? Teddy suddenly remembered something. Perhaps it's because the subjugation force. One of the new guardians is Rachel. Agen. The eldest son adopted by the Agen family, right? If that's the case, let's call him over and ask. Daphne looked at the accompanying knight. Go over there and fetch my brother. The knight hesitated. Are you referring to young Master Rachel? A trace of difficulty flashed across his face. In the end, he turned his horse around and left. That hesitant look made Daphne a little concerned. Teddy explained softly. As far as I know, that Rachel is the son of the Duke's friend. And because of that, the original owner of this body treated him worse than anyone else. Within the Agen family, the relationship between them is probably the worst. There are even rumors that the reason he joined the Sword West Knights was because Daphne forced him to leave. Daphne sighed helplessly. The original owner really caused trouble everywhere. Just then, Rachel rode towards Daphne. I heard you were looking for me. The corners of his mouth curved into a smile, but there was no hint of a smile in his eyes. Long time no see. How have you been? That forced smile, coupled with the awkward past between them. Daphne understood that he didn't want to see her. Since we've said hello, you can go back now. Rachel's expression also stiffened. What, weren't you the one who called me here? I did call you, but it's nothing now. Rachel barely suppressed the urge to explode. Okay, I'll go then. Turning his horse around, he muttered, You haven't changed at all. It's really annoying. Rachel recalled his unfortunate turning point. It started with his father's death. He had begged his mother not to send him away. But his mother told him, Rachel, only if I send you to Duke Agen's place will they give me money. We don't even have money to buy a loaf of bread now. I have no choice. Don't blame me. Listening to his mother's sanctimonious words, Rachel felt extremely heartbroken. He clearly saw his mother's brand new necklace around her neck and the glittering rings on each of her fingers. Was his existence not even worth as much as those accessories? Fortunately, the Duke's family treated him very well. The Duke cultivated him with all his might. The warmth of the rich illuminated him. His fear of being abandoned gradually subsided. Later, Bera and Iris were also adopted. Rachel finally saw a hopeful future. This felt like a real home. Maybe one day he could naturally call out father and mother. However, everything changed after the Duchess passed away. The Duke no longer paid attention to them. He felt abandoned once again. But for the sake of his younger siblings, he gritted his teeth and persevered. He waited silently, both in mourning for the Duchess and in anticipation of the Duke's return. However, the Duke never paid attention to them again, and Daphne's humiliation towards him became more excessive day by day. Don't you know you were sold here? How long are you going to play the pitiful act? You're not a real child of this family at all. Every time he thought of these things, Rachel felt agitated and upset. He only hoped that Daphne would leave soon, and that he would never have to see that face again. Earlier, Kenrick was leading the team in training and rest. 11 pink-haired men gathered around. Lord Kenrick, you're very familiar with Rachel, right? Have you heard any news? Like when his little maid will arrive? How much do you know about him? The man was outwardly respectful, but he had a look of anticipation for a good show. Kenrick frowned and glared at him. The men immediately feigned innocence. Don't look at me like that. None of us have seen the little maid before. A little girl coming to such a dangerous place. We're just afraid of accidentally offending him. Kenrick, with a gloomy face, you clearly want to pry information out of me. And you're putting on an act in front of me. Let's just stop here. The man's smile stiffened as he was exposed. Lord Kenrick, if you don't want to get beaten again, wouldn't it be better to just tell me? What did you say? You're getting carried away just because you've won against me twice. The man acted recklessly. Spit it out quickly. Who exactly is that Daphne? There are so many rumors about her being a hero lately. If you don't tell me, I'll keep bothering you until you do. Kenrick pressed his forehead. A hint of coldness flashed in his crimson eyes. There's nothing to say. Don't be misled by the rumors. Daphne Agin is just a complete bastard and a madwoman. 5-year-old Daphne followed the knights on their expedition. As dusk approached, the team set up camp. The elf emperor took out his harp and played a melodious song by the lively campfire. Daphne, on the other hand, chatted easily with the knights sitting around her. The atmosphere was warm and harmonious, but this scene greatly shocked Kenrick. How could this be? Nike patted him on the shoulder. Lord Kenrick, after seeing that scene just now, don't you have anything to explain to us? Looking at Daphne's polite and natural interaction with the knights, Nike felt completely fooled. The knights must make a good impression on Duke Akiwan. But you're going around telling everyone his daughter is a monster. A madman running like a wild bull. Irritable and naughty. We only ignored the little maid because we believed you. Now it seems, are you deliberately misleading us with false information so that we guardians suffer together? Kenrick was speechless. He didn't know why Daphne suddenly changed. It's one thing for the Duke's knights to be close to her, but even the knights of the Marquis of Division are being nice to him. He must be faking it. Nike rolled his eyes after hearing this. Really? Then go and try to make him show his true colors. Kenrick is worthless. He's going to tear off Daphne's disguise completely. She's just a 5-year-old child. If you stimulate her a few more times, she'll show her true nature sooner or later. To please Daphne, Teddy specially snatched a harp from another elf to play music for her. For Lady Daphne, what does this little thing count for? Daphne nodded in satisfaction. I really want to keep you by my side forever. Winding Teddy's hand trembled, and the strings made a harsh noise. Are you unwilling? Teddy looked bitter. How could I be? I'm very willing. The music flowed again, but for some reason, it faintly revealed a trace of sadness. The light of the campfire flickered gently on Daphne's face. Looking at the laughing knights around her, her thoughts drifted away. It is said that dragons enjoy being alone, but that's not true. He has always been lonely. Being able to get along warmly with others is what truly makes him happy. Of course, not everyone accepts him as he is now. Hello, maid. I am Kenrick Dowd, a guardian, and also Rachel's friend. Daphne put down her cup and looked up at her. Hello. Her eyes swept past the distance, the other guardians who were avoiding her gaze. So, is there something you want to say? Nothing to explain. I'm just worried that the food in the wild is rough and doesn't suit your taste. Daphne patted her round belly. It tastes pretty good. Kenrick tilted his head and changed the subject. Are you satisfied with the place to rest? In the wild, we can only use the earth and fallen leaves as beds. The maid's body is delicate. I'm afraid it will be difficult to adapt. Daphne raised her hand and pointed. A delicately crafted, natural and environmentally friendly tent came into Kenrick's eyes. The knight scrambled to introduce that the tent was stuffy. This was made by the maid herself. If you're curious, she can teach you how to make it. Kenrick gritted his teeth secretly. Impossible. This must be some kind of trick. The Daphne he knew was lazy and gluttonous. How could she make this tent herself? Your body has always been weak. The cold night air in the wild may make you uncomfortable. Why not go to a nearby village now? There must be warm accommodation there. And more delicious food. Kenrick continued to dig a hole for Daphne. Daphne sighed helplessly. I know you hate me. I'm already used to it. The surroundings suddenly became quiet. She got up and walked to Kenrick. Raising her small face to look directly at him, she said, if you insist on doing this, if you insist on me being picky and throwing a tantrum here and then leaving, then you can take the opportunity to ruin my reputation. But is your purpose merely to humiliate a little girl? No, we are here to fight the black magician. Have you forgotten? As soon as she finished speaking, Kenrick and the other guardians fell silent. At this moment, Rachel returned from patrol. Strange, why is the camp so quiet today? Kenrick was ashamed. He apologized to Daphne and left in a hurry. Rachel saw this and hurried to catch up. The two came to the bushes, facing Rachel's questioning. Kenrick said in a low voice, Daphne already knew. She knows we hate her, and she knows the purpose of our deliberate provocation. She told us to stop wasting time on boring things. We should focus on dealing with the black magician. Without a single complaint, she knows better than any of us what is most important. Kenrick smiled self-deprecatingly. At that moment, I suddenly felt incredibly pathetic and ashamed. He seems to have really changed, but Rachel didn't believe it at all. How is that possible? What kind of person is he? Haven't you seen it with your own eyes? I have seen it, but today he did show the appearance that a maid should have. I know it's hard for you to accept, but at least see what he looks like now. Rachel sneered. Then what about the torment I suffered before? Do you want me to watch him being treated as a kind child and being loved in an unknown corner? Don't be ridiculous. Rachel punched the tree trunk, her eyes churning with deep resentment. Just you wait, Daphne. I will definitely reveal your true colors to the world. The once arrogant and ill-tempered Daphne now seems like a different person, becoming gentle and calm, always putting the overall situation first. However, Rachel, as his older brother, doesn't believe in his transformation at all. He secretly vowed to expose his true colors. My lord, are you just going to let him go? Daphne sighed while setting up the mattress. It seems that compared to Iris and Vipera, Rachel has a deeper resentment towards him. Let him go. Don't pay attention to him. Teddy, however, couldn't stand Rachel. Can't you just say what you don't like? Such sneaky humans. They're so inefficient. Do you hate humans? Not that I hate them. I just think they lack. They're annoyingly stupid. We're both creations, but they always seem inferior to elves. Daphne laughed. In my eyes, you are all equally insignificant, yet you despise each other. Isn't that ridiculous? Teddy was shocked, my lady. How can you say such cold words in such a gentle tone? Speaking of which, you're too kind to humans. That's because humans are the weakest. The stronger should protect the weak. Teddy disagreed. If it's their own fault, why should they rely on others to protect their hearts? Do you think strength is eternal? Even the strongest will weaken. Even the smallest life has wonders. If I were the only one left in the world, what would be the use of my strength? It's because there are weak that the strong have value. Teddy was speechless, so he changed the subject. Speaking of which, we're camping earlier today than yesterday. The sun hasn't even set yet. Just then, a pink-haired figure jumped out. Want to know why? Let Nike tell you. Because this used to be the area where the disaster dragon caused earthquakes. Problems can't be solved in one night. Better to rest early and deal with it with all our strength tomorrow morning. Hearing earthquake again, Daphne's expression slightly tensed. Teddy leaned in and whispered, my lady, did you really cause the earthquake? During that landslide, I wanted to save the villagers, but I accidentally used too much force. Was that person saved? If they were saved, I wouldn't be called a disaster. Unaware, Nike was still comforting the maid. Don't be afraid. That evil black dragon has already been destroyed by your father. Daphne's lips twitched. Teddy quickly held her down, repeatedly urging her to calm down. Rachel, who had been observing from afar, frowned. Daphne has been chatting normally with others. She's not hitting or scolding anyone, and there's no unusual behavior. What is that guy up to? Kenrick thought for a moment. Could it be that the Duke sent him on purpose? He knows you left home because of Daphne. Maybe he wants you to see his change and go back voluntarily. Maybe the Duke just misses you. Rachel scoffed. That Duke, besides the Duchess, isn't interested in anyone else. He probably forgot about someone like me long ago. Even if that's the case, I won't do as he wishes. Before the subjugation ends, I will never say a word to Daphne. Soon it was late at night. Daphne went alone into the depths of the forest ahead of time. Riding a horse all day is tiring enough, but I still have to keep training. After all, the Duke said that he would notice if I trained 1 minute less. The forest is indeed, as the subjugation team said, filled with a strange atmosphere. Could all of this really be caused by me? Suddenly, she stopped. She ran right into 3 black mages. I told you to be careful. The subjugation team is nearby. What are you afraid of? Just kill them. But it's just a child. They completely ignored Daphne. They gathered around and discussed. Daphne was very unhappy. Who are you discussing killing? She was secretly pleased. These 3 black mages came to her door themselves. It's convenient for her to absorb their death aura. I only have one question. Why are you here? One of the black mages suddenly perked up. We are here on a mission to find the regrets of the great disaster dragon. Daphne's eyes darkened. The Great One said that we can find the answer by finding the main body. Are these people also looking for his vessel? Why are you looking for regrets? Of course, to seize the power of that Great One. Idiot, shut up. The companion next to him kicked him over. Turning to Daphne, he said fiercely, little brat, I'll send you on your way. He activated his black magic, and black-purple flames surged from his palm, rushing towards Daphne. Daphne leapt lightly, but the flames still grazed her arm. She landed steadily. The black mage lost his composure. She took my black magic. How could this child still be alive? The burning pain of the wound made Daphne gasp softly. This black mage's magic is not as strong as the assassin from before, but 1 against 3. She has no chance of winning. Daphne stretched out her hand, and a ball of light condensed in her palm, becoming brighter and brighter. What are you trying to do? Daphne replied with an innocent face. Of course, I'm calling for help. A dazzling light pierced the night sky. The subjugation team in the camp woke up instantly. What is that? Gather quickly. It's the aura of death. There are black mages. Rachel didn't expect that black mages would really appear here. At this time, Teddy was looking around. Lady Daphne, where are you? She wouldn't have gone to find those black mages first, would she? Teddy's words made Rachel's face change. Daphne is gone. A 5-year-old girl in the middle of the night, training in the deep mountains and old forests. But she ran right into 3 black mages. After a brief confrontation, Daphne decided to summon her teammates. The subjugation team, sensing the abnormality, quickly assembled, rushing into the depths of the forest. Noisy shouts pierced the night sky. Everyone, be careful. Absolutely do not come into contact with their aura of death. But the black mage's counterattack became even more fierce. Daphne watched the fierce battle below from a branch of the moonlit tree. Good thing I called for backup. If I were fighting alone, the odds would be against me. I thought the black mages were too few in number and would be at a disadvantage. But I didn't expect their combat power to be decent. But if that's the case, the subjugation team might suffer casualties. But if the black mages are annihilated like this, I won't be able to absorb their energy. Daphne fell into a dilemma. If I go down to fight now, it might arouse the knight's suspicion. Just then, an anxious shout came from afar. Daphne, where are you? If you're still alive, respond quickly. Rachel's questioning. Teddy, you're his guard. Don't you even know he's missing? If this is Lady Daphne's own decision, I have no right to stop her. Don't make excuses. What if something happens to Daphne? Daphne watched the 2 arguing from afar, a sense of doubt rising in her heart. Others aside. Why is Rachel so anxious? Doesn't he always hate me? After a moment, Daphne was still on the moonlit branch. I'm here. Rachel immediately rushed forward, his expression softening. Why did you run off to a place like this? Do you know how dangerous it is right now? Let's go back to the camp immediately. Saying this, he grabbed her hand and was about to leave. But the black mage's energy hasn't been absorbed yet. Let go of me. I can't leave yet. Don't be willful. What can you do here? Before he could finish speaking, a black magic suddenly came from behind, attacking Daphne. Rachel's pupils constricted. There was almost no time to think. The sound of flesh tearing rang out. A large amount of blood splattered on the ground. Rachel held Daphne tightly in his arms, but his arm was struck by the black magic. The flesh quickly rotted. Daphne was stunned in place until she heard his painful sobbing and suddenly came back to her senses. Why don't you hate me? Why did you save me? Rachel's voice trembled with pain. Is that important at a time like this? It's important. You clearly hate me. How worthless am I in your heart? Rachel interrupted her, panting and lowering his head. Did you think I would just stand by and watch my sister die? I don't like you, but you've been tormented by illness since you were a child. You finally came here. How could you die in a place like this? His voice weakened, but each word was clear. I don't like you, but that doesn't mean I want you to die. So you have to live. After saying this, he completely collapsed to the ground. Daphne stared at him, her heart surging. He has always sought strength, believing that protecting the weak is a matter of course. But if it were him, could he do something like this for someone? He came here only to absorb magic. but the knights have to fight with their lives on the line. Compared to the weak humans, his heart is more admirable. What a disgrace to the dragon race. She handed the unconscious Rachel to Teddy, and then took out a bottle of magic enhancement potion and drank it all in one gulp. Even if it might be exposed, she can't run away anymore. If she doesn't act now, it will really be too late to salvage the situation. Meanwhile, Kenrick was locked in a fierce battle with the Black Mage. The opponent suddenly released a powerful move, thick, dark purple magic roared and pounced. But that power actually paused strangely in midair, as if fearing something. Just as the Black Mage was wondering, Daphne walked towards him step by step. Kenrick hurriedly stopped her. "Milady, leave here quickly." Daphne just crooked her finger. Originally, Kenrick's aura of death suddenly reversed, directly piercing through the Black Mage's own chest. The Black Mage spat out blood violently and knelt down. His eyes were filled with horror. How is this possible? You can actually control other people's aura of death. What made him even more afraid was that the power within his body was rapidly draining away. "You're absorbing my power." Daphne looked down at him, her purple eyes as cold as frost. "Because this originally belonged to me." In just a moment, all 3 Black Mages were cleaned up. Their power was also completely drained. Kenrick, who witnessed the whole process, was dumbfounded. "Milady, how exactly did you do that?" Nike and the other knights also gathered around, both shocked and confused. "Contact with the aura of death is sure to cause serious injury." "Why are you unharmed? Could it be that you are a mage? But you come from a distinguished family." "That's impossible." Daphne was at a loss for words. What was coming finally came. How can she explain it to get away with it? "That's because Lady Daphne is cursed." Teddy suddenly spoke up from the side. "The Black Mages once cast a curse on Lady Daphne. That's why. She gained the ability to control the aura of death." Daphne nodded in agreement. "That's right. I didn't want to reveal this matter. Although this curse makes me suffer, it has also given me this power." The others were stunned by this news. They always thought Daphne was physically weak because she was sick. They never expected it was because of a curse. However, the next second, the side effects came. A fierce attack came. Daphne suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood and fainted.